to have received approval this time. It's unclear if further legal disputes will arise. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you. To have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
James Cawthon, a 54-year-old battalion chief with Coweta County Fire Rescue, died in Chambers County after being fatally shot while assisting a couple whose car hit a deer. Cawthon and the car's driver sought help at a nearby property. The homeowner, 34-year-old William Franklin, opened fire. He killed Cawthon and wounded the driver. The driver returned fire, injuring Franklin. Law enforcement detained Franklin, who faces a murder warrant in Alabama. Cawthon is remembered as a selfless, hard-working man. I'm Katie Hyde, filling in for Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name, and legal troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy.
You get a cough, please.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. I think everybody survived the snow. Eddie Bader is here. Did you survive the snow?
Man, we didn't even get none. We got
you didn't even
flurries.
get none?
Got some flurries, that's it. I was so disappointed.
I got some pretty good snow in my neighborhood. And the video I posted, you can see. It was like a nice little winter wonderland. The roads weren't too scary.
My sister's one down in Daphne, she got, I don't know, like 6 inches. And my sister over in Louisiana got 8 inches. Wow.
And the gentleman we have on the phone here.
Yeah.
We do this every Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Porro, host of the Jeff Porro Show, editor-in-chief at 1819news.com. How many inches y'all get down there, Jeff?
From the Arendelle Bureau, 8 inches.
Wow. It is the darndest thing. I would say, we talked about this on your show earlier, but I still, if you had the opportunity, when I was only 4 or 5 years old, the blizzard of 93,
yes.
I have memories, even being that young, that stick of my grandfather, who I'm now living with, and my uncle coming over to do snowball fights and make a snowman. So these are the things the kids will never forget, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Your memory is much more pure.
Well, My kids, my 4-year-old, he was excited about it. Then he spent about 5 minutes in it, and he said, all right, I'm ready to go back in.
That's a smart kid right there.
A little cold.
So y'all survived your no huge issues in y'all's neck of the woods?
No, and I had to go pick up a babysitter this morning because I do my show from the house, and got on the roads just a little bit this morning. And to be honest, I didn't really see much there to, people are generally staying off the roads. And the good thing about Baldwin County, at least where I live, it's very flat. So we don't have big mountains or hills or anything like that to really drive on. But like I said, most people just kind of staying out and staying home. Nothing's open except the Wawa is open. That's it.
There you go. Man, talk about that's the place to work. No, you need to still come in, even though we're under snow here. Now, so much has happened this week since the inauguration and all the executive orders being signed, all the different reaction. The news cycle is crazy. I don't even know where to begin. So I just want to ask a general question. What do you make of Trump now being the 47th president in the last few days we've seen?
I'm kind of good with what he's done. I mean, the bar was so low with Joe Biden, but at least he's not hiding from the press. And he made a bunch of campaign promises that he's living up to. And he said what he was going to do if he was elected president. He won. I think it was a mandate. I think this is a stark contrast to 2017, Joey, because I think the EOs are much, much better, well thought out. We could go back to one of the very first things Trump did was the travel ban, and it was challenged in every court, and they went judge shopping. Mm-hmm. This time, I feel like these EOs are way better thought out, and they have some legal precedent. One of the best ones is the DEI stuff are kind of dealing with affirmative action, and there was a Supreme Court case that said, this stuff's unconstitutional, and it leans into that really hard. So when you go before, say this is challenged in federal court, and you have a Supreme Court precedent right there staring you in the face on the executive order, it's going to make it hard for these judges to say no to what he's trying to do. So, just from that aspect, it is they are way better prepared this time around.
And what do you make of the latest, I guess, that bishop, the Episcopal bishop there, giving Trump and team a lecture during the ceremony? Of course, she was just asking for mercy. It's just that simple. We just want mercy. But now doing a media tour, on The View this morning. Is this the best they've got right now? What are you thinking of the response to all these actions by Trump?
A legend is born, right? Bishop Marion Bud, it doesn't matter. The prayer service was about unity. She says, quote, "My responsibility yesterday morning, was to reflect, to pray with the nation for unity. And as I was pondering what are the foundations of unity, I wanted to emphasize respecting the honor and dignity of every human being, basic honor and humility." I don't know what scripture that puts a big emphasis on unity is, but such as the Episcopal Church in 2025, I suppose. But yeah, she's, I suspect, will have an MSNBC show before the week's over.
Right, and I think they're looking for new stars. We've been having that conversation for weeks now with some local Democrats even here. Do they have any bench? Do they have anybody on the rise? Because you look at the old, Schiff and Raskin, after these pardons by Biden for those guys, I think they're kind of done in a certain way in terms of credibility. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but who do you see rising up to actually be an effective challenger to Trump in these years ahead?
Good question. I don't think it's any of the old guard. I mean, I think the old guard, this is the problem. They outstayed their welcome. They overstayed. They just didn't know when to quit. And knowing that, the Pelosi, Steny Hoyer, James Clyburn regime in the House, I think, the Schumer, Durbin run in the Senate's going to come. That's eventually going to fall. So we look at Congress; they're having the same problems, but I don't think it's Gavin Newsom. I don't. I mean, I know he's popular in California, but he's got the baggage of California, which the optics aren't great there. And everybody else they've tried these moderates like Bashir, Shapiro, Pennsylvania. We could throw in Tim Walz, who had a historically abysmal Democratic run. That's not working either, right?
Right.
That might work for the cable newsers. That might work for the choir you've already captured. But it took decades for the Democratic Party to recover from FDR, and with the exception, of JFK and LBJ, and LBJ really kind of extended FDRism, and we're still dealing with that today. But Carter was a reaction to Watergate, so I think it took all the way to Clinton to really recover from FDR, and that's the kind of moment that Democrats got to try to figure out, like, what's that going to be. And I don't think they have that figure yet. I mean, I don't think it's a John Fetterman. I don't think he's a presidential timber, but I don't know. It's going to have to be something along those lines.
And I'm looking at 1819news.com here, and it looks like Daniel Taylor has a story that this is already having, say, some of Trump's actions, in particular on immigration, is already having an effect on some of the migrant community there in Albertville. So even before, I think, the major arrest and the major effort, I know it got started day one, but it's just people reacting, understanding this is a new sheriff in town.
Yeah, that was sort of the assignment there. Now, you can't do one of these stories without having some kind of hardship story or whatever, but, look, you got a new sheriff in town. How's that impacting the immigrant community in Alabama? I find that to be a compelling storyline. And apparently, I mean, they're taking notice. This isn't happening like, big deal. They are aware that these Haitian migrants, that we've been talking a lot about this year, or last year, I should say, are aware the CHNV program is coming to a conclusion. With the executive order, well, what happens? Do these guys get sent home, or do they go home of their own volition? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, and one detail of the story I found fascinating is the focus of the story is a guy named Jeff Lamore, who's doing programs to help, say, migrants assimilate into the community, into the local culture. But he said that because of that work, he's been getting a lot of hate. But the quote is, quote, "I've been receiving a lot of hate from people, just mostly Democrat people. They don't like me." As I'm reading the story, this guy seems kind of down the middle. Doesn't seem that political. It's more like he's trying to make peace between different groups, and yet he's getting the hate for even suggesting maybe I'll assimilate to your local culture.
Which is a little surprising. You would think. I don't know. Joe, I think this is just and I don't know if this is true in this anecdote, but the modern Democratic Party, and gets back to our discussion just a second ago, they got to have something besides just being angry at Donald Trump or angry at Republicans or angry at whatever. That's been the basis, that's been the foundation, and it's lost its way. There's no policy there. What do Democrats stand for in 2025 in student loan forgiveness or whatever? I mean, they don't really have a foreign policy vision other than, hey, let's fund the Ukrainian war. That's not a traditional Democratic Party approach to foreign policy. They even have problems with the code pinkers in their own party. So, I don't know. They gotta figure out what they stand for. It's gonna have to be more than just never Trump.
Exactly right. And I think as our conversation on your show this morning, I think it will be some Democrats that understand I can take 75, 80% of what Trump and team are doing and work with them. And then I'll pick my battles in the other 20% or so. And, when I'm thinking about sort of moderates, do you think it's a sign of things to come, seeing how Senator Britt ushered in and kind of ushered through the Senate this Laken-Riley Act? That is now passed, and a good support from Democrats, I think 64 votes in total. Is it a sign of sort of that a person who can play the middle, who can reach across the aisle, but yet still can say, I'm a bona fide conservative? It seems like this is the direction she, at least, is heading.
Well, I mean, and she's, she's an interesting in Alabama politics because she's kind of a creature, I would say, of Washington, D.C., having been up there, two stints with Richard Shelby, came back to do BCA, but also is like kind of like, you know, a regular on Fox News, a regular on Hannity, also speaking to that audience, you know, not going full Matt Gaetz or whatever, but able to do both. So when I look at it, you know, you look at her, I think at some point she'll get to a fork in the road and have to make up her mind. But at least early on with the Lincoln Riley stuff, she's able to move votes in that direction. And that's just knowing how the Senate works. And we can't have like 100 Rand Pauls, Ted Cruz's, Mike Lee's, et cetera. You gotta have somebody who's kind of, you know, knows the sausage making process.
Well, and of course, Senator Britt is not the only senator in front of the camera from Alabama a lot. So is Coach Tuberville. And I almost feel like I don't know anything about it, but I almost feel like there's a healthy competition between the two senators. Maybe that's a good thing for the state. And it certainly makes our jobs easier seeing them so much in the public eye and in media.
Yeah, can you even tell me who the two senators from Kansas are or wherever? I mean, who's getting more airtime as with their two senators right now on the Republican side, at least? I mean, maybe Cornyn and Cruz. That's a big state. You know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll ask Ashley Moody, but Rick Scott's been out there a lot. You know, but that's they're both. Look, I watch a lot of cable news, Joey, and I find both of these senators, you know, like to be way more media savvy. And maybe it's just Coach having been a football commentator on ESPN for a while after hanging it up as a coach. And Katie Britt just she was a press secretary when she was Katie Boyd. I mean, I remember when she was working for Shelby in the early 2000s, right out of Alabama. And knowing how the game is played and understanding that and having to make that part of your portfolio. Because so many of these guys, and Richard Shelby was that guy where he never did that much TV. He would be on CNBC on occasion, but it was more like he's more of an overlord of, just by virtue of being on the Appropriations Committee, the head Republican or whatever. And it was never about, just movement conservatism. Like, say, his peer there, Jeff Sessions at the time, who wasn't on TV a lot, but did a lot of things and headed a lot of initiatives, I think, to kind of get the ball rolling on the whole MAGA thing.
Oh, yeah, and Sessions will always deserve credit for early on seeing the promise of that. And, for years I worked in talk radio on multiple shows here in Montgomery. Never once have I met Richard Shelby in person. We always used to say, I think he's in 2D, like you shake his hand, you get a paper cut. But so I think it's a refreshing change. I think what we're seeing is a healthy competition between those two Senate offices, and maybe that just makes the people of Alabama proud, and I think it gets us good attention with the current president now in office.
It's funny because we need to talk about Richard Shelby someday, but I mean, he used to not be that guy. He used to be a guy who was more like a coach. Who was more like an all shucks. And then, I don't know what happened there at the end, the last term. He really made a turn for not really interested in doing any media, not just no radio, none of that. And I guess saw the writing on the wall as time was over. And there was no point in it. But, yeah, you're right. It's different now. We finally have both U.S. senators willing to go on radio. Whether you like it or not, I think it's an important thing, an important feature to have both on. I long for the days when we have a governor who will follow in their footsteps.
Likewise. Likewise. No offense to the one guy who gets the interview. It's not hating on him. It'd just be nice if more voices had a chance to ask our beloved governor a question. Well, I always appreciate your time, Jeff. If folks want to see what you're thinking about, writing about, talking about, how can they do so?
X.com/Jeff_4.
Appreciate it, man. We'll talk again soon.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Again, that's Jeff Porro, editor-in-chief there at 1819news.com. Shelby, if you go look at Shelby, the 92, right after Gingrich's contract with America cycle, they win the Senate and the House, and it's a big deal. Shelby switches to the Republican Party like the day after. And if you go watch that press conference, the guy does have charisma, and even in a way that's like an Alabama-based reporter. After they ask all these questions about why'd you switch to the Republican Party and yada yada, what's your philosophy still? What is this change of the Dixiecrats into Republicans? What's this realignment? One locally based Alabama reporter, I apologize, I don't remember his name. He goes, "How are you recovering after that prostate surgery?"
Oof.
And I think Shelby said something to the effect of, "Well, I don't recommend it." Yeah. So, and it's just a genuinely funny moment. And Sweet Home Alabama, all right. So. But we'll see. We have clips of both Tuberville and Britt. That's why I had that sort of line of thought with Jeff Poor there. I keep seeing both senators constantly in front of the camera. Yep. And I think that's a good thing at the end of the day, especially when things are actually getting done in the Congress at the same time. You know, there were some rumors kind of pulling a new thread out of this. I almost thought Senator Britt was trying to pull what happened to Shelby, like pull away a Democrat, bring him to the Senate as a Republican.
With the Fetterman?
With Fetterman. And then there's all these rumors that Fetterman's going to switch to the Republican Party. I don't know if you saw those. Fetterman came out and said, I would make a pretty bad Republican.
I can agree
said
with
not
that.
going to happen. So that's squashed. Maybe. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see where the Democratic Party actually goes in the coming years in particular.
They're going to have to find a new direction, that's for sure.
I think they're still searching in the wilderness to a degree. They'll figure it out, though. Don't underestimate them.
Fetterman needs to not underestimate Katie. She is very captivating. Let's not forget.
Thank you for reminding us.
Let's
it is
not
true.
forget that.
Tis true. 272-9228. Hey, this part of the program?
Yeah.
Brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And you know what they're all about, right?
Oh, 100%.
They're all about helping you guys get that edge back, get that energy and drive back, get that libido back. That life energy, that life force.
Yep.
Well, if you're low in testosterone, you know, this happens naturally as you get older.
Sure does.
In your 40s, 50s, and 60s, hit middle age. But it's also happened to a lot of guys younger,
I was going to say even some younger guys. Yeah, it's starting to happen.
So if you're feeling tired all the time, you're feeling like you have no drive, you're never in the mood, why not go by Montgomery Men's Health? The providers there will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And what does that entail? It means you give a blood draw.
Yeah,
and they test your blood. It's really simple.
Took all of 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah, really straightforward. And they're discreet. They understand sometimes guys can be a little shy about going to the doctor. But let's say you get that work done and it comes back, you do, in fact, have low testosterone. Well, they have low T treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change men's lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and usually even notice an increased libido. And you can actually book the same day that you call. So call them up right now, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. I just got word, Andrew Szymanski, our city councilman, he cannot make it today because he's working at the emergency warming center. Well, that's the best excuse reason I've heard in a long time. So, we'll pick it up, man. If you're out there listening, love to have him back on soon. But I get it. There's plenty happening here locally.
Somebody just sent me a story. The Pike County Judicial Complex floods after the pipe burst.
Ooh. Yeah, I was wondering. I was about to ask, has anybody seen any local issues?
This is from the third
lack
floor
of response
down.
They didn't drip those faucets.
They did not, Joey.
I had every faucet in the house dripping.
It's not a bad idea. I did at my house. I wasn't too worried about it because we're there, but at the Airbnb, it's vacant. So I went up there and everything's. But my next worry is I come in the door and everything's flooded, like the drain clogged or something.
Though I had the shower dripping, and then it was dripping enough to where it was splashing on the floor, and I'm like, I got water all over myself. Like just all over the place.
Yeah, but better than a busted pipe. I don't know if you've ever had to deal with that, but growing up, I don't think my father believed in insulation on the pipes in the basement because it seemed like every time it froze, we had a busted pipe.
No, our house is pretty insulated because I like to turn the heat off when I sleep at night, and it'll only go to, even with these very cold, it'll only go down to like 63 in that area.
See, to me,
it's well insulated.
That's how I like it. In the 60s while I'm sleeping, that's good. That's good.
So I've not seen anything major. I know yesterday there was a major accident on I-65.
Yeah, I think down near Greenville, wasn't it?
Yeah. Some of the folks here we work with at Blue Water were saying the drive here from, say, Millbrook and Prattville and stuff was not fun. What about you?
I don't doubt that because I saw, like tonight, I could see where some ridges are going to freeze up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's things that are melting, but of course they're melted right now, and I think as temperatures change, unless that dehydration kicks in. Yeah,
well, and you know, my dad lives on the bay. He doesn't have a house with a
rub it in every time we talk about it.
He doesn't have a house with a slip, but he's literally right across the street from friends with a house with a slip, and then he's got his own beautiful house that he can use his boat at his friend's place, and then he doesn't have to deal with the waterfront.
Thank you.
And it's a beautiful spot he's built there. But you know, it's always green down there.
Yeah.
And it's the beach. And he sent me photos. I'm like, everything is covered in snow. And they have this little Yorkie, a girl dog named Kenny, and hilarious dog. But that dog is, a little Yorkie, so a few inches off the ground, and trying to go through the snow, like the dog disappears. And it's like, and going up a step, it completely disappeared. I'm like, oh no, poor kitty. But okay, so that's a good, at that moment yesterday, 6 inches.
Yeah. I wish I would have drove down there now because the coolest thing is the snow on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think Pensacola got 4 or 6, 7 inches, something like that, too. So right on the beach.
Yeah, I thought about my dad, because he's like 20, 25 miles from Pensacola. Yeah. He's right there on the border.
He got some good snow, too.
Yeah.
But I was surprised when I came through Wetumpka. I'm literally 10 miles outside of Wetumpka. Wetumpka had snow on the ground still. Mm-hmm. We got some flurries. I put my drone in the air and made a stupid video of some flurries.
No, I had some flurries driving in yesterday.
But that's disappointing, man. I wanted the 4, 6, 8 inches.
And by the way, I just want to say thank you to Woody.
Yeah.
At the very end of the show, we had a minute left. It was like 58:30, 2:58:30. Had like a minute left. And I said, hey, you're on there. Who's this? And, oh, it's Woody. I'm like, oh, it's this guy. I like him a lot. But he goes, oh, by the way, be careful. Somebody just spun out on Perry Hill Road. Thank you. Thank you for telling me. Like, really appreciate it. Just giving me peace of mind. Right.
Give you a heads up, man.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
Good friends we have here on Talk Radio. Such good friends. You're everybody in the family all right, though? Everybody freak out too much?
There was a little freak out. My sister in Louisiana, she was the best. I texted her. I was like, you guys are under a blizzard warning? She's like, I don't even think it snowed. Obviously hadn't got out of bed yet. All right. They texted me back 5 minutes later. Oh, my God, we got like 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground. So they had a heck of a time. But she doesn't have kids. And my whole plan was, if it snowed, well, it was supposed to stick where I was at. I was going to go play with the twins. I was setting on go. Just never happened.
So there's so many different directions we can take, Eddie. But I kind of want to start with this one.
All right.
The mean tweets are back.
Oh.
Did you see this Bishop, if you can call her that?
One that drives a Subaru?
Yeah. See her little lecture for mercy as Trump and Vance and all of them are sitting there?
I did. I didn't watch it live, and I'm glad I didn't because I'd been cussing out a bishop. But, yeah, I did, and I thought that was just tasteless. But
well, Trump has responded.
Oh, boy. What'd Daddy say?
He put it out there at 12:39 a.m., so 39 minutes after midnight. Trump put this out there. President Donald J. Trump.
Mm-hmm.
The so-called bishop who spoke at the National Prayer Service on Tuesday morning was a radical left hardline Trump hater. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants that came into our country and killed people.
Yep.
Many were deposited from jails and mental institutions. It's a giant crime wave that is taking place in the USA. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was very boring and uninspiring one. She is not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology.
I don't understand why you would take that moment, her, to do that. And a so-called bishop, you've got a lot of hate in your heart, lady. And that just didn't go over well with me.
No, and it's stirring this whole debate of like, what does it mean to be a Christian and all this stuff? I'm like, well, ever since the Reformation, it's meant a lot of things. But maybe we should all go back to the traditional Latin Mass.
I would think she would be smart enough to know that this is her moment to not shine personally, but to bring positivity to her church. But she chose not to.
I think what happened is she went and saw that Dietrich Bonhoeffer movie. It was like Bonhoeffer, like the guy who stood up to the Nazis.
Oh,
yeah, like spoke out.
yeah,
And there's
inspiration
brilliant scenes where from the pulpit with Nazi officials there, Bonhoeffer just like spoke the truth.
Yeah,
as he saw it. Yeah, I think she was like, I can do that.
A little bit different situation. I got to be really honest.
Yeah,
I could see where she could draw that because she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but a little bit different situation.
Yeah, and according, as you heard Jeff Bohr say, she went on The View today and said, well, I was just going for unity.
Well, you missed. You missed, honey.
Yeah, and, Trump's already getting a lot of response from all over the place. It's not just a Episcopal bishop.
Yeah.
There at the National Cathedral, whatever it was. Goodness, all the pomp and circumstance. But it was also now the Danish politician, a Danish politician of the European Parliament, is calling out Trump. He's not too happy about the whole Greenland thing.
I saw interviews with folks from Greenland.
Oh, some of them liked it. Oh, but those were just drug addicts on the streets. They all of a sudden riled up and drunks. Or something. That's the spin on it. Or something like Don Jr. and them just went and collected all the ne'er-do-wells and like, oh yeah, we love Trump. It's like, it's so fake. It's so okay. Okay. Whatever. But as we talked to like Congressman Gary Palmer yesterday, like Greenland is a serious thing. There are national security implications with rare earth metals and, of course, the opening up the Arctic, all this other stuff. So the Greenland thing's not going away. But here's this Danish politician. Well, he has some pointed words for President Trump.
Mr. Trump.
Mr. Trump?
Dear President Trump, listen very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Greenland has been part of the Danish kingdom for 800 years. It's an integrated part of our country.
Why don't you learn to speak correctly?
It is not for sale. Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, f*** off.
It is not okay in this house of democracy. Thank you. Regardless of what we think of Mr. Trump, it is not possible to use such language.
Well, he just did. It is not possible. Well, it seems pretty possible to me.
Ignore what you just saw. I don't care. I mean,
no.
What is he really? Come on.
Like,
if Trump were there today, he'd be first in line to do some bootlicking. So just whatever.
Right. And also just seeing that, like, just you sound like a Muppet.
And
even when you say F off, you sound like, what, and I know you're not even Swedish, but you sound like the Swedish chef.
And if they weren't such morons, they could do exactly what we want to do with that place.
Good point. You're saying they don't have the know-how and...
saying they're a bunch of morons.
Mm-hmm. But an interesting thing happened yesterday. Trump did this big announcement, infrastructure announcement. $500 billion of investment promised. And it's going to be called Project Stargate. It's like setting up all these AI, batteries, computers, and data centers and all this stuff, or to really ramp up AI infrastructure in the United States. And it's like Sam Altman of OpenAI, Larry Ellison of Oracle, and then Masayoshi-san.
Yeah, I saw that little guy.
And Masa had a great moment here. Let's listen into Masa. But then there's a turn. After all the Trump hailing, look at this investment, me and Masa aren't we good, Masa? I told you, why not 200 billion?
Right.
And so before we get to the turn that happens in this press conference, here's a good moment with Masa Yoshi-san.
Well, Mr. President, last month I came to celebrate your winning and promised that we would invest $100 billion. And you told me, oh, Masa, go for 200. Yeah. Now I came back with 500.
500, baby.
Because this is as you said yesterday, this is the beginning of golden age of America. This is one great example, I think.
Yeah.
Right? We wouldn't have decided to do this.
I think so.
This is the beginning of golden age. We wouldn't have decided unless you won. And yesterday we agreed, we signed to make it happen. Because of this thing.
Very nice.
So we would make this happen. We would immediately start deploying $100 billion with the goal of making $500 billion within next 4 years, within your term. Right? Because of your success.
So it's a good moment. It's like all this investment coming into the country. Well, Elon Musk came out today saying, well, they don't actually have the money. And I have pretty good sources. And I don't know if it's Elon just messing with people or he's just telling the truth, being his autistic self. But then
you don't have the first 100 or the last 400.
Yeah, he said they have only, like SoftBank only has 10 billion raised. They don't actually have the money, but we'll see. I think that's Elon sort of trolling his fellow billionaires. But then, like Sam Altman of OpenAI, who seems like a robot himself.
Yes, very much so.
He's just odd. Is he always microdosing psilocybin? I wonder.
Something's up.
But then it seemed like everything was wrapping up. Like, oh, this is revolutionary. Look at all this money we're about to spend. And then Trump goes, Larry Ellison of Oracle, Larry, say some more. What are we going to do with all this AI infrastructure? What are we going to do with all this stuff? When I heard this yesterday live, I'm like, oh man, there's going to be a lot of folks who are going to be reacting to this, let's say not in a positive way.
Once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
How do you feel about that one, Eddie?
We have to do vaccine talk. I liked everything up until the whole vaccine thing.
Well, and what else are we going to do with the AI? Because this wasn't said yesterday, but this was in a different forum. And there's more you can do other than just like custom-made vaccines, particularly to the person.
That's what I worry about, Joey.
mRNA vaccinations, which, by the way, Robert Malone, who has a lot of patents on that technology, came out and said, this is just a billionaire hyping stuff up. Okay. He has no idea what he's talking about. Like, maybe in a sort of sci-fi theory way, you might be able to do something like that, but that's...
I worry about some customization is what I worry
But what else could you do, Larry Ellison, who Trump kept praising? They asked Trump, would you be okay with Elon buying TikTok? He goes, yeah, sure, I would do it. I would do
think
that.
Elon wants it, Mr. Beast
I would let Larry Ellison buy it.
Yeah, there's not a problem with buyers.
Here's some more from Larry Ellison about if we build like through this Project Stargate and we build up this AI infrastructure in the country, there's going to be all sorts of benefits, not just more mRNA vaccines to stop cancer, but maybe like people just behaving better.
The police will be on their best behavior.
Well, the police will be.
We're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior.
Oh.
Because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on.
Wait.
Well, that's just
the AI surveillance system. He's already saying it's unimpeachable.
Can't get it wrong.
Has he watched any dystopian movie? He should watch the new movie where Megan Fox is an android.
Yes, she's
I
like
watched
the,
it last night.
nanny of some sort.
Yeah,
Like that. Yeah.
It was more the sci-fi part. It had nothing to do with how she looked. I'm not Mark Zuckerberg.
Too bad.
Said the liar.
I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras. It's AI that's looking at the camera. No. You can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be an event that's immediately, an alarm is going to go off. It's going to be, and we're going to have supervision. In other words, every police officer is going to be supervised at all times. And the supervision will, and if there's a problem, AI will report the problem and report it to the appropriate person, whether it's the sheriff or the chief or whomever we need to take control of the situation. We have, same thing. We have drones. We just if there's something going on in a shopping center, and I'll stop.
Yeah, please.
Out there, they're way faster than a police car. There's no reason for, by the way, high-speed chases. You shouldn't have high-speed chases between cars. You just have a drone follow the car. I mean, it's very, very simple. And the new generation of autonomous drones.
So, golden age. It's the new golden age.
I think it's a lot of nerd talk. Some of it is drone fall in the car. Like that's easy. That can be done right now.
No, but this idea we'll have a massive AI system that's supervising all citizens and all police.
I don't know about
I'm like, wait, who's supervising the AI? And who's supervising those people running and setting the parameters for the AI?
Right.
Because we've already gone through it with Sam Altman's Open AI. When we asked it, when was President Trump shot? It said, well, Trump hadn't been shot. I think you've been fed misinformation. I'm like, you're the misinformation. Don't tell me this stuff is unimpeachable because you put billions behind it.
Right.
What sort of I want the golden age, not some dystopian nightmare from some hopped up, over Botox billionaire's brain.
Dude, he looks like Danny Bonaducci.
Yeah,
I have a hard time taking him seriously because I just see Danny Bonaducci.
Yeah, he does.
But those kind of things, it's just too much power. It's too much of an overlord type system, and I want no part of it. I want no part of it.
But speaking of the whole TikTok thing,
yeah.
By the way, this press conference where Trump was signing stuff, just casually hanging out,
yeah,
it was pretty awesome. Like how comfortable he seemed.
Yep.
But here is the big idea for TikTok from President Trump.
TikTok piece, President Trump. You and your members of your team now used to warn about the dangers of TikTok spying on Americans. What changed that you're not worried about that anymore?
Well, it depends on the deal. I mean, I may not do the deal or I may do the deal. TikTok is worthless if I don't approve it. It has to close. I learned that from the people that own it. If I don't do the deal, it's worthless, worth nothing. If I do the deal, it's worth maybe $1 trillion, $1 trillion. So if I do the deal I'm talking about doing it for the United States. If I do the deal for the United States, then I think we should get half.
The TikTok.
In other words, I think the U.S. should be entitled to get half of TikTok. And congratulations, TikTok has a good partner. And that would be worth, it could be $500 billion or something. It's crazy. The number crazy.
He then yesterday with those billionaires goes, Massa, would you take that deal? Larry, would you do that? Oh, yes, Mr. President.
Of course they say that, but I don't want the U.S. to have it. And let me go ahead and tell you, it ain't just me that's noticed this. Since that ban came and went, whatever, TikTok's not the same. Mm-hmm. There's been some changes.
Oh, damn, Eddie, I forgot we're supposed to be in a cult. Where we're just mindless drones and we support everything the dear leader says because, we're just crypto Nazis.
I think that's why they don't like the TikTok, lack of control.
Or maybe we love that Trump won, but.
Oh, I do. I love the fact that he won. And there's several things. I love what he's doing.
Likewise, especially freeing Ross Ulbricht.
Yeah.
That's amazing. He kept the promise to the libertarians. Thank you, President Trump, for that. But for every good thing, there's going to be stuff, too, where you're like, what? And I'm just telling you, you might be happy, you might be angry, you might be like, F you for voting for Trump, F you for not voting for Trump, So starting to sound like that Danish politician, sorry. But just remember that when it comes to this...
Hold on to your butts.
Situation, hold on to your butts, folks. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Rich Thomas weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. We are looking forward to some improvements as this day unfolds. We'll be warming up to the upper 30s by this afternoon, and that's going to eliminate much of the travel concerns. Plenty of sunshine today, mostly clear tonight. Another low temperature in the upper teens. Tomorrow's high is a little better, but still way below normal at 44 with more sun. Over the weekend, we warm into the 50s, and that sounds like a nice improvement. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations since we began in 1906. At CB&S Bank, we're here for you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. My last message was the report for 2024 real estate market in the River region. According to industry experts, they predict for 2025, we will have more inventory to choose from for our buyers, more buyers for sellers to show their houses to. Here are 5 tips for buyers or sellers in 2025. Number 1, sellers need to price their home at fair market value with the help of your realtor. Number 2, buyers need to be pre-qualified by a local lender prior to shopping for a house to save them time. Number 3, use a certified residential specialist or CRS to purchase or sell your home. Less than 2% of realtors nationwide have this designation. You need an expert now. 4, use someone with 48 years of real estate experience to help you with your largest investment. Number 5, quit waiting. Now's the time to buy or sell. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883, the Goodson Group, or 551-0225.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, you will immediately see the difference in pricing. Not only do we offer the most competitive rates, but our closing costs rank among the lowest in the industry. How do we do it? Because we can. We do not have the overhead that big banks and lenders do. Those big banks and lenders have big expenses. And what do? They pass those expenses along to you. Meanwhile, here at Alabama Home Mortgage, we receive wholesale rates which result in big savings that we pass along to you. Don't pay more for less. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our rates and pricing are just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
What'll it be, Joe?
Coffee and apple pie. Whoa, Madge, what was that?
The lights? Oh, they always dim when the dishwasher turns on.
You should call Crosby Electric.
You think?
Overloaded circuits at your business can be dangerous. The experts at Crosby Electric can upgrade your electrical service to safely handle the load. And they can add receptacles where needed to eliminate overuse of extension cords.
Madge, I'd like to pay you. The problem is it's so dark in here I can't read my bill.
No, the problem is you're cheap.
Well, that's a problem too.
Effective, attractive lighting is essential for any business. Crosby Electric can help with a new lighting scheme that will give your business a fresh, exciting look. And they can recommend outdoor lighting for greater safety and security.
That'll be $4.50 for the coffee and pie, Joe.
Well, don't I get anything for recommending Crosby Electric?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Don't put off essential electrical upgrades for your business. Call 272-2085 or visit crosbyelectric.com.
Before you buy new floors at a discount store and get them installed by the cousin of a friend who does this kind of thing, consider the better option. Prattville Carpet carries the most reputable brands for selection, style, and quality you can trust. And with their non-transferable lifetime installation warranty, you'll never have to worry about hardwood warping or carpet buckling. Your floors will stay as beautiful as the day they installed them.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement. Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Austin Barenko with Invista Advisors. Hey, Austin, how you doing?
Oh, having a great day, Joey. Trying to stay warm. What about you?
Oh, likewise. No issues on your end with because I've been checking with everybody. I know no burst pipes, no nonsense like that.
No issues like that. I'd say the closest thing to an issue that we have is my 2-year-old has been out of daycare now for 3 days in a row. So trying to manage a 2-year-old and work is always a challenge. But I have enjoyed the time with her. But that's probably the only thing that's out of sorts in our world. What about you? Did your pipes all make it through?
Yeah, we had every faucet dripping. We're all right. Thank God. We're all right. Now, we were just talking about this huge announcement yesterday, the Stargate project, $500 billion to be invested for AI infrastructure. Is this a sign of more things to come, not just say in the AI space, but a lot of folks are going, well, seems like Trump wants to do big booming deals. We might as well invest in the U.S. Right.
Well, I think more than getting focused on the Stargate deal singularly, it's important to look back at some previous administrations and where their agenda is. You know, the previous administration was all about green energy, and that didn't necessarily mean that where they invested taxpayer dollars and where they gave subsidies and tax breaks were necessarily healthy for the environment, but it certainly did put money and line the pockets of people that were their constituency. And I think you're seeing the same from the Trump administration. The biggest difference is that I think that the group that he's chose to align himself with benefits a much broader selection of U.S. citizens. I think that the Green New Deal and the green energy subsidies that they were giving oftentimes benefited some of our global adversaries even, whereas I think that the AI technology boom for the most part is grounded in the United States. While, yes, there is some chip production manufactured overseas, a lot of it are with our allies. And so I look at this more as a nod in the direction of where government subsidies will be used under the Trump administration. And to me, it's uplifting for domestic investment. And so that's my take on it.
Makes a lot of sense to me. And just there's so many things happening all at once. And yeah, eventually it'll slow down, but I kind of like this big boom just a couple days into the new administration. The activity and pace at which it's going, I think, is a healthy thing. And I know it makes you and the team there at Invista even the more busy with Trump there in office. If folks are interested in getting in touch with y'all, not just for, say, investment or the portfolio side of things, but for holistic, let's say, preservation of wealth, really planning their financial future, it's just a simple phone call at 387-0094.
Yep, that's us. And you're right, Joey. We're always going to start with planning, but we are happy to be in this new phase. And in the last 5 days, the market, the broader market, the S&P is up almost 4%. I mean, this is a resounding endorsement for the new administration, and we're on board with it. And yeah, anyone out there listening, give us a call. We're happy to help with your unique situation. And Joey, as always, really appreciate your partnership.
Appreciate it with you too. Thank you, Austin.
Yep.
Again, that's Austin Branco with Invista Advisors. Be sure to tell them that when you call them up at 387-0094 that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you.
The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Invista Advisors, registered investment advisor, and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Now, did you see that the scandal? Can you call it that? Around Zuckerberg looking at those tatas is still ongoing?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
people are, and maybe I'm just been raised in a house full of women, but people are calling her out.
Oh, really? Well, yeah, Megyn Kelly.
Come on.
Did you see the Megyn Kelly clip about it?
I heard her, and I think it was you that was telling me that she was getting a little.
Oh,
crabby
she
about
was,
it.
yeah, she was very crabby about it. I think there's a history there.
Man, that could be.
Owns it and owns Amazon, of course. And I will tell you, this is not my first time saying she dresses like a hooker, because she does. And we called out, we had to deal with some.
And she reiterates that you dress like a hooker. I'm
So
like,
is it real rare for two hot chicks to not get along and to call each other names and things like that, Joe?
No, I wouldn't say it's rare.
It's incredibly common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also say, hey, Megan, go back about 60, 70 years, and there are going to be folks saying, you dress like a hooker. Like, look at all that makeup you're wearing and those tight, form-fitting dresses. Like, it is kind of amazing, all the different hot takes and reactions.
What happened to women power? I can dress like I want. You can't judge me. What happened to that?
Well, I mean, she did have those things hanging out
They
there.
weren't even. Whatever. You guys are just pigs.
Wait, you just want to quietly, without any comment, just observe what happened?
I think it was funny. Zuckerberg seeing her and be getting busted. That was funny.
That was very, very
To
funny.
call her out for dressing that
She dresses like
men
a
are
hooker.
such pigs that they can't control themselves.
Right.
Or, is she gonna have to start wearing a Habib and all that kind of stuff here? Well, I mean, come on.
Well, Polymarket, the big betting site?
Yeah.
Everybody can bet on everything?
Yeah.
Well, it was found that not only did Zuckerberg take a peek at Lauren Sanchez's tatas, he's been looking at those things for a while.
Oh, is that right?
He apparently, because, he owns Meta, he liked a very sultry photo of the woman on Instagram. And according to Polymarket, Zuckerberg divorce chances have gone up 11%.
I would think more than that, but okay, this is
It's an 11% chance.
Now you believe that you believe that Facebook can look at you through your phone?
Yeah, maybe not literally look at you, but
you don't think so? Like your TV, you don't think that somebody?
Yeah, I
could
think
hack into that
yes,
camera?
I think that, yes.
So you don't think the guy who owns Meta couldn't make a phone call and go, "Hey, is she watching TV? Turn the camera on." Come on.
And maybe it's some weird billionaire thing too.
I'm sure
like
it
some
is.
weird
Yeah.
billionaire game they're playing with one another.
Could be.
I just love, by the way, though, as Zuckerberg is getting caught looking at those things, Elon is just stuck at his phone chuckling at memes. People focused in on him, and you just see Elon like laughing in real time at the memes at the inauguration. Like, we're run by children, and I love it.
You saw Theo Vaughn's chair bust.
Yeah, I did see that.
Okay, well, he swears that the brother set him up.
Jake and Logan? Yeah, Paul.
Which they helped him out. They gave him a seat. Did you see Tyson on Jake's shoulders?
Yeah, I did see that.
So they turned which is funny, but
It's
they
a
turned the
circus.
inauguration into kind of a...
Oh, it's nuts. It's crazy.
It was funny. It looked like a good time was had.
Oh, yeah, and I've had people from Alabama reach out. Jerk Wilkins reached out.
Yeah.
He was up there saying it was just a crazy time.
Good.
Crazy fun time. Got to see him meet a lot of people. And all the gala events, all the balls, all this stuff. It
Who would
was...
have thought Theo Vaughn would have been at an inauguration?
I know, and then he ran into a guy named Sean Duffy who's on Fox News, and he's just been appointed to some position in the Trump White House. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And Sean Duffy was apparently on Real World.
Really?
Like Theo was, and Road Rules and all that.
Yeah.
So they reunited. They're like, hey, man, how you doing?
Wow.
Who would have thought we'd be here?
You ain't kidding.
Yeah.
Would have never seen that. Never.
And that's the aspect of America where it's like, who knows?
That's
Who knows?
hysterical.
We can cover all the serious topics, from the cutting-edge technology dystopian future being built before our eyes coming up, Donald Trump making a plea to Putin, and kind of a threat, too, to you better make a deal right now, Vladimir. You better
Now's
make a
the
deal.
time,
And
yep.
we can talk about billionaires looking at each other's fiancés' things. We can do it all here on this program.
To me, the funny is him. He got busted.
You see Trump dancing with a sword?
Yeah. Nerd.
Like I keep saying.
Hold on to your butt.
Because this is going to be a wild ride. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. There's going to be stuff you're like, what the H is that?
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure there's going to be moments, like you said, there'll be disappointment. There'll be some disappointment. I know that's coming.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. A major winter storm that slammed Texas and the northern Gulf Coast is spreading heavy snow, sleet, and freezing rain across parts of the Florida Panhandle and eastern Carolinas. A blast of Arctic air has also plunged much of the Midwest and the eastern U.S. into a deep freeze. Parched Southern California could get some badly needed rain this weekend to dampen the prospects of yet another round of deadly wildfires. An AP NORC poll finds that many U.S. adults support the idea of beefing up security at the southern border and undertaking some deportations. The vast majority of U.S. adults favor deporting immigrants convicted of violent crimes. On Wall Street, stocks are higher, the Dow up 141 points, the Nasdaq adding 250. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. Man's best friend deserves nothing but the best. That's what you'll find at MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville. They carry only the highest quality dog food brands. MPM in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open 7 to 5:30 on weekdays and Saturdays 8 to 2. Call Clint Smith at 334-361-8818.
Well, hi, everybody. We are looking forward to some improvements as this day unfolds. We'll be warming up to the upper 30s by this afternoon, and that's going to eliminate much of the travel concerns. Plenty of sunshine today, mostly clear tonight. Another low temperature in the upper teens. Tomorrow's high is a little better, but still way below normal at 44 with more sun. Over the weekend, we warm into the 50s, and that sounds like a nice improvement. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASE loan payment from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. YourASECreditUnion.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The IRS is distributing about $2.4 billion to taxpayers who didn't receive their COVID stimulus payments. By the end of January, approximately 1 million taxpayers will receive special payments of up to $1,400 from the IRS. The payments will be distributed to taxpayers who failed to claim a recovery rebate credit on their 2021 tax returns. A deadly Tuesday afternoon pileup on Interstate 65 in Butler County has killed one person. At least 15 vehicles were involved at the crash site about 8 miles south of the main Greenville exit. The southbound side of I-65 South remained closed well into the night as traffic was detoured off the interstate. The Prattville Pride Group is planning to participate in the city's upcoming Mardi Gras parade. Prattville Pride acquired a federal judge's order last December to force the city to allow their participation in Prattville's Christmas parade. Now the group is advertising its placement in Prattville's February 1st Mardi Gras celebration. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby likes it.
Hi, this is Sharon with the Depot Furniture Gallery. Choosing to advertise with Blue Water was an easy decision to make. Our goal was to increase sales, and they reached the audience that we wanted to connect with. Our sales rep has been great to work with, and we couldn't be happier with the results.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
No one wants to wait on service for an overhead door. With 20 years in the industry, you now have access to the best with All Access Overhead Door. All Access Overhead Doors offers prompt professional service at affordable prices on all service and new garage doors for residential and commercial locations. All Access Overhead Door serves the River region and can take care of whatever you need when it comes to your overhead door. Remember, you have access to the best. All Access Overhead Door. Call and schedule an appointment today. 320-2440. And like them on Facebook. They sell the best and service the rest.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader here in the studio with me. We both survived the snowstorm. Turn the camera a little more. It was just driving me nuts looking up at it. I was like, let's frame this thing up right.
I offered you those shoes.
I
offered you those shoes.
Oh, you're making a short joke.
That's not what we're doing.
No.
My bad. I was going to get them too, though. Thought we could both.
You're talking about lifts in my shoes.
No, these are shoes that had the lifts built into them.
Yeah. Like sneakers?
That's what they look like.
Tennis shoes?
They're from Temu, so yeah, they're kind of sneakerish. What?
That sounds awful.
No, they're pretty cool. You can go from 5'10" to 6 foot.
Oh, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
I wanted to go from like 6'1" to, I don't know, 6'12".
I you know, what? It was good having a day yesterday, all right? It was good.
I can go now. I can go now.
No, don't. Please don't.
I enjoy it. I'm just saying. It would be cool. Wouldn't it be cool to see you at 6 foot all of a sudden?
No, it wouldn't be cool. It would be fake.
There's all kinds of cool fake stuff out there.
Yeah, I don't want the, like... Oh, are you back on the things again?
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
I got a regular Zuckerberg here in the studio with me. Oh, man. I find this time both exhilarating, frightening, hilarious. Like, what are all the adjectives that we could throw out there? And, of course, all the reaction to Trump's pardons of the folks on January 6th. One of the guys who's protesting the loudest is the son who ratted out his own father after the January 6th protests. That's insane.
Beyond insane. I can't believe that they're raising Cain about that. But what Biden did before he left is acceptable.
Well, and
are you kidding?
And I've thought about this. Say, like, somebody in the family did something really awful. You're not going to get if they really did something awful, I'm not going to stand in the way. Like, they kill somebody or do something terrible. Okay, justice needs to be served. But you're not going to get me to go out in the public eye to talk to a bunch of people I don't know about somebody I do know.
Right.
Like, that, in that sort of thing that media often does is just, ooh, that drives me nuts. Absolutely up a wall. So,
yeah, I saw that. And he didn't really get rid of all of them, didn't he? There's still a couple, I think.
There's
in
still
jail.
a few. Yeah.
And I remember reading. I don't read all the cases, but I read a couple last night, and I thought, well, good for him, because in my belief, they didn't deserve to be out.
And by the way, it is Donald Trump and Melania Trump's 20th wedding anniversary.
Really?
Yeah. So happy anniversary to y'all.
Did you watch some of the balls?
Just a few clips. I didn't really sit there and watch all the balls.
Really? I thought you would be that guy.
That I'd watch the
I
balls.
thought you went home and dressed up. And
Oh, yeah. Joey loves balls. Yeah. He loves watching them.
I did watch well, I guess like you, I watched the clips of them. They looked like they were having a really good time.
Yeah, they did.
And
He really did look very happy.
And honestly, and I think it's even some clips out there. J.D. Vance's kids just being kids was hysterical. Like they're supposed to be all just sitting there all reverent and listening. The kids are smacking dad in the head and running back and forth. I love that because I see that that's real. You got kids, you know that moment. No matter they don't care what's going on. They're still going to be kids.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
This Poison Hive over here at the executive department. How you doing?
We're doing all right. How are you, Poison?
Well, I'm pretty good. I got to tell you what's going on. Those folks that was in that Daniel Thomas article over there, Albertville, called over here this morning, saying that they're going to have enough workers at the chicken plant, and they was wanting some of the leftover National Guard for the governor to send them up there to cut chicken livers and gizzards. And I said, well, we ain't got to do that. And I flew up there in the state plane, and I took them a tape of Bishop Budd, talking to the president there to comfort them. Now, pay close attention to the acronym of the program I created. And, after they listened to her, they stayed on the line cutting gizzards. And the name of the program is Validate America's Mercy on Surplanted Employees. Vamoose.
Thank you, Poison.
That's good.
Update.
Vamoose. See, that's something I can get behind.
Oh, wow.
That's something I can get behind that program.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Yeah, it's overnight.
Hey, Urbanite.
Yeah, there's two things, and you're not going to like me for either one of these. First, this thing with the worker shortage that she just got to mention, or he just got to mentioning.
Yeah.
I think schools like Auburn and Texas A&M ought to be burning their money right now with their agricultural and engineering departments getting together, creating more farm machinery.
Why would I not like that? I mean, yeah.
That's all right. I like that.
Now, that's not why I called. Originally, why I called was with Trump. I was real disappointed that he didn't keep his word on going through the people he was going to pardon, going through the records of having somebody go through their records, because it would have been a better news story if the people had been quote unquote vetted for what they did. Because there are some bad apples in that group, and the media is going to find all the bad apples.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Because you know what? We had them silenced when Biden pardoned his son. They were pretty quiet at first, if you notice.
Oh, yeah.
We should have kept that in the media in the first couple of weeks instead of what we're having in the media right now. That's our fault. Once again, we didn't handle PR correctly because our friend likes to have attention more than he likes to do solid business.
No, I think the correct way to do PR in this new day and age is to move fast and be fairly unapologetic, and you don't have to listen to what corporate media throws out there in terms of their spin. You really don't.
I get you there, but then how much of that is you putting your head in the sand? What Joe did was despicable, and the way Trump's doing it by not vetting the people is despicable. But we know which one's going to get more play through history.
Yeah. No, I think I would love to not talk about January 6th.
I'm really
over it.
Yeah.
And I think most Americans are.
But you just gave it to the left.
No, but I don't think you gave them much anything. I think 5% of the people even care about that frickin' day at this point.
They're the only ones who do care.
And the guys who are in prison. So, you do it fast, you do it at the beginning, you do it right on the heels of a bunch of pardons Biden does, and it's a wash.
Right.
And I believe a lot of it was the FBI agitators. And then,
no doubt.
There is that thing that, what's the guy's name? Tucker Carlson pointed out that there really were two protests. There was one side of the building that was calm, and there was the other side of the building that got all the news, got all the publicity. Because people who've been to the Capitol understand that building's almost 2 football fields long, and it's like 21 stories tall.
Right.
So you can literally have one thing happen in one part of that building, and not know it.
No doubt.
Oh yeah, and then there were plain as day instances where people really were charged with ridiculous things for just being in the building.
Yeah, just being there.
I mean, and breaking stuff, right? Exactly. And those are the people that really needed to go down for what they did. They really need to go down for what they did. I mean, if you even took a souvenir piece of glass out of that place, you need to go down for what you did.
Well, this is the point, though. It's going to be a lot of stuff real quick, real fast, and we'll see how it shakes out. I think the pardon one will kind of go back into the memory, except for a few malcontents that want to constantly bring it up, which, I'm not against. I'm malcontent in many ways myself.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to move on to different topics. And in fact, I think everybody, whether you love Trump or hate him, just like I said, hold on to your butts. There's going to be issues that nobody talked about in the campaign.
This will be part of the layers that's going to hurt, say, Vance taking over from Trump. When everybody's all exhausted again from Trump's BS, and Lord knows what his last month or week's going to look like, because he can't run again. When everybody's exhausted from that, it's going to hamper what could happen in the future with the Republican Party and who's coming up next. And there's a good deep bench. There's a deep bench with Vance and Rubio. There's a deep bench that could keep Republicans in power a long time if we play it right.
Well, but I do think part of the strategy going forward should be like saying to the corporate media, the legacy folks, you're not in charge anymore. You don't have the same pull. You threw everything at us the last few years, especially up to this election, and you lost. And most people are not listening to you anymore. So
but they can find themselves having a last laugh if it goes out like it did last time.
We'll see.
Exactly fine during the COVID crisis.
I just think it's a different age, man, and the election is a great demarcation point of that. And I mean specifically a different age in media. I think.
One other thing. What do you think about Tuberville coming back home to become governor?
Actually, I would be all for that idea. I'd want to hear his plans for the state in particular, but in terms of a personality and somebody who I think could cut through some of the culture in Montgomery, yeah, I'm all for it.
You think he'd be better than Ingford?
I don't know. Like I said, I'd want to see the specifics. My inclination, if you're putting me on the spot, is I know Tuberville better, and I think he'd have a better shot with his name ID. But it does come down to, like, what do you actually want to do, Coach?
Row Eagle. Albert Cohen.
Appreciate it, Urban Knight. 272-9228. Like I said, so many moving parts, folks. In a second, I want to get into this big pardon Trump did. Not January 6th. I don't really care about that. I haven't for a while. I know some of y'all do. I care about is, well, it's a promise made to the libertarians. And we'll get into all that, how it happened. The pardon of Ross Ulbricht in just a second. First, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and the team are ready to help you with that roof of yours, especially after a winter storm like this. And before you know it, you'll be going through those summer storms, and you're like, I thought I heard something in the middle of the night. Is something going on with the roof? We haven't checked out the roof in years, honey.
This is true.
And what, are you going to climb up there yourself? Like, once you get up there, what are you even looking for?
A stick sticking out of the roof, because that's about all I can tell you. Yeah.
Now, you need to call the true professionals there at River Region Contracting. And they're specialists across the board, not just with your roof, but with your insurance. So they can walk you through an insurance claims process if they do find an issue with your home. But here's the beautiful thing with River Region Contracting. Just a basic inspection to give you peace of mind.
Yeah.
Free.
Absolutely free, Joel.
Always free. As well as writing up estimates. If you do have a problem, they'll write up that estimate for free, and it's always accurate. They show up on time. They do the job well. Again, that's River Region Contracting. They're not associated with any other roofing company here in the area. It's River Region Contracting there with Todd Clark. Give them a call at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. So I suspect, because I don't constantly harp on every libertarian thing on the show, at least not anymore, there might be folks who don't know the whole Ross Ulbricht story.
Okay.
And so there's a Bitcoin magazine came out with a review. And it's not because the girl who's doing the review is very attractive. That's not why I'm playing this.
Oh, okay.
It's more just to give you background on who is Ross Ulbricht. Why did Trump pardon him? What's the whole story argument here? Let's listen in.
You're watching this, Ross Ulbricht could finally be a free man.
He is a free man.
To some, he's a reckless outlaw who got what he deserved. To others, he's a martyr for freedom and decentralization. But why does his story matter so much? And what does it say about the world we're building with Bitcoin? Let's mine deep.
All these fancy when we get fancy graphics.
In October 2013, Ross Ulbricht was arrested in a dramatic FBI sting at a San Francisco library, accused of creating the Silk Road, an online marketplace that used Bitcoin as its currency. Ross became the face of the darknet. To the media, he was Dread Pirate Roberts, a criminal mastermind and the creator of Silk Road, an online marketplace that used Bitcoin as its main currency to traffic drugs and facilitate illegal activity on an unprecedented scale. The trial was equally theatrical. Federal prosecutors painted Ross as a dangerous kingpin, citing messages found on his laptop and even accusing him of plotting murder for hire. Spoiler, those charges were dropped without explanation. What wasn't dropped were the charges for drug trafficking and money laundering, leading to a double life sentence, plus 40 years with no parole.
My son, Ross Ulbricht, is serving a double life sentence, plus 40 years, without parole.
But here's where the cracks in the narrative appear. 2 FBI agents who are part of the Silk Road investigation were later convicted for stealing Bitcoin from the platform and abusing their power.
Shocking.
Yet Ross wasn't allowed to mention their crimes during his defense. The punishment didn't fit the crime either.
No.
Double life sentence for running a website? Meanwhile, others convicted of drug-related offenses tied to Silk Road received far lighter sentences, often just a few years. Ross's writings about liberty and free markets, which prosecutors used to demonize him, became another tool to justify what many saw as judicial overreach. And then there's Ross himself. In prison, he's become a beacon of hope and reform. His fellow inmates describe him as kind, helpful, and upstanding. He's mentored others, shared knowledge, and proven that even in the darkest corners, light can shine through. Outside prison walls, the movement to free Ross has steadily been growing for over 8 years. What started as a small group of Bitcoiners and activists grew into a tidal wave of grassroots support. By the summer of 2024, it had reached a crescendo as Donald Trump made commuting Ross's sentence a cornerstone of his campaign.
And if you vote for me on day one, I will commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht.
When that promise was met with an uproar of support, it became clear the Free Ross movement had succeeded in turning an individual story into a nationwide cause for justice. So why should you care? In a letter from prison, Ross wrote, "Keep standing for liberty and respect for our rights. Keep fighting for your freedom, and eventually we will win." Ross Ulbricht's story resonates so deeply with people because it's not just about him. It's about the ideals Bitcoin was built on: freedom, decentralization, and the rejection of oppressive systems.
Hello, this is Ross Ulbricht. I'm calling you today from prison, from a maximum security federal penitentiary. I want you to understand what it means to lose your freedom. But first, let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin made me feel like anything was possible. Bitcoin was open to everyone, right? It was like it leveled the playing field. With Bitcoin, I can try to do something that actually makes a difference.
For Bitcoiners, his harsh punishment embodies the exact overreach they're fighting against, a system that wields asymmetric power to crush those who challenge it. But Ross's case also asks bigger questions for the justice system. What does it mean for a society when the punishment far outweighs the crime? When the system itself protects corrupt actors instead of holding them accountable? The Free Ross movement proves that the court of public opinion can sometimes rival the courts of law, forcing those in power to reconsider their actions. If Ross walks free, it will be a victory not just for him, but for anyone who believes in accountability of systems, of leaders, and of ourselves.
Then last night, Trump put this out, saying, "I just called the mother of Ross William Ulbricht to let her know that in honor of her and the libertarian movement, which supported me so strongly, It was my pleasure to have just signed a full and unconditional pardon of her son, Ross. The scum that worked to convict him were some of the same lunatics who were involved in the modern-day weaponization of government against me. He was given 2 life sentences plus 40 years. Ridiculous. After this pardon, he will have served 12 of those years.
Wow.
But I remember, as you know, I was very early to the Bitcoin community, and we heard about Ross very early. And in many ways, Ross saw Silk Road as sort of a, like taking academic ideas and applying them. Here's how you could have a website where, without oversight, people could buy or sell anything.
Right.
And it is quite a saga, but at the end of it, the man's free.
That is good.
And thank you to Donald Trump for promises kept. Promises made, promises kept.
That's it, man.
And so often, being one, or having been one in whatever fashion, being a libertarian, libertarians are the scapegoats. Libertarians are the ones that everybody loves to crap on from the left, from the right, when I still believed, and I'll probably believe it till I die, that libertarianism is at the heart of the revolution that started in 1776 and will be at the heart of anything we might call a free society going forward. Are there weird libertarians? Yeah. But ask yourself.
No weird Republicans.
Right.
There's no weird Democrats.
Right.
There's no weird
Right.
independents, Joey.
Right. And given they are a bit of a fringe movement and have been fringe, we have been fringe for a while, then you're going to also attract extra weirdos that really it isn't about the philosophy. It's like, I'm just really weird and want to be part of a weird
You guys
club.
are weird. I want to be that.
Right. But, I love these weirdos. I suppose I am a weirdo myself in that regard. But Thomas Massie kind of gives some behind the scenes on all of this. Thomas Massie was one of the guys who really was pushing President Trump. He was withholding his endorsement before he endorsed Trump. He really wanted to make sure you're going to free Ross.
Right.
And so here's Massie. This is last night on Tim Pool's live cast, explaining some of the behind the scenes of how this got done.
Ross wrote me on December 14th of this year. And his mom this because it's personal, but it brought a tear to my eye. Mr. Massie, Inauguration Day fast approaches, and my hopes are once he is sworn in. As I await the beginning of my new life in freedom, I just want to acknowledge you and thank you for your part in bringing about this wonderful outcome. You have consistently been a powerful voice in the public sphere, supporting my campaign for freedom, so my imminent release is as much a victory for you as it is for me and my family. Thank you for every single time you supported me, both publicly and in private. You put your faith and confidence in me, and now that I'm getting my second chance, I promise to make you proud that you did. I would love to connect with you once I am on the other side of these walls to see how I can help further the cause of freedom. So he's already thinking about what he can do. I know Josie's crying. I cried when I read this. I've read it twice, practiced it without, this is the first time I've been able to read it without crying. Because this is, like you were saying, Tim, this is a personal example of how an election matters, down to somebody who was going to rot in prison, was rotting in prison. And by the way, Ross, he didn't even, he was willing to settle for less than what Trump gave him. He was willing to settle to have a sentence commuted, which means you're basically guilty, an admission of guilt, but your sentence is over. You've served enough time. And it was a ridiculous over-sentencing, regardless of the guilt or not. I think it's a violation of the Eighth Amendment. Eighth Amendment to our Constitution says no cruel or unusual punishment. Why should you get 2 life sentences plus 40 years?
Well, explain what he's accused. What was he accused of doing?
Running a website that allowed people to buy and sell drugs, for instance, using Bitcoin. I think they made an example out of him because they didn't want people using Bitcoin.
Yep.
And
what it was.
They were scared of a new technology.
Yep, that's what it was.
And they didn't know how to control it or contain it. And here is more the example of how this worked out. Maybe I'll ask to have her on the show. I think we could get her on the show. Angela McArdle, she is now the chair of the Libertarian Party. And she had the idea that, well, we got to stop being marginal. How can we make inroads and actually move the needle and get certain issues done, no matter who becomes president? Because we know it's not going to be, probably not going to be a libertarian.
Right. But still want to move the ball.
So here's a little more of that behind the scenes from Thomas Massey.
Thinking of a phrase in my head, make libertarians relevant again. And, you know, a lot of times the only way libertarians are relevant in elections is to be the spoiler in a close race. Maybe they take some of the votes away, like the Green Party might do to Democrats. But in this case, Angela McArdle, the chair of the Libertarian Party, decided to reach out, invited Trump to the Libertarian National Convention, where he spoke and he made this pledge that he would free Ross Ulbricht. So I think that's a big deal. That contributed to this. I decided 2 weeks before the election to endorse Trump myself. And I called him up and he answered the phone. We talked a little bit and I said, well, what should my endorsement say? And he brought up Ross.
Wow.
To me. And so he said, you know, you could put that in your endorsement. And I thought, well, that would be a good way to lock this in.
Yeah.
So I did. I put it in my endorsement. In the middle of my endorsement is a sentence that says, you know, the president has committed to freeing Ross Ulbricht. And then President Trump retweeted my endorsement. It was sort of, it's not legally binding, but it really, I think, made it more solid. And I was, you know, just based on my personal conversation with President Trump, I was certain he was going to keep his word on this. And to me, this is a litmus test, really. Are you going to convert those campaign promises into reality? Because once you get elected, it's hard to hold people accountable. Right?
I was worried.
Promises made, promises kept, though. And I was worried. I was sitting here thinking, well, that's great. He made that promise. It's amazing. It's amazing he made the promises he did in front of the Bitcoin conference. And I think this is, just to underline the point, everybody wants to say, oh, the right wing was so victorious. That's not why Trump got this election, where he wins the popular vote, where he wins all 7 swing states. It was, yes, the so-called right wing. It was conservatives. It was Trump people who've been ride or die Trump since he came down the escalator in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
It was those folks. It was traditional conservatives that were part of the Reagan coalition, part of the contract with America, might have even voted and even worked for, and like George W. Bush. It was a lot of those folks. Yeah. But Trump also brought into the fold the Elon Musk, the Joe Rogans. They ain't conservative. I would hardly call them right wing.
Exactly.
When you look at also bringing in the libertarians, bringing in a lot of folks in the tech space on the bleeding edge of a lot of this stuff, Trump built, and don't forget about Bobby Kennedy. I say to myself, don't forget about bringing in the Kennedy, sort of the liberal anti-establishment types into the fold. Tulsi Gabbard as well being brought into the administration at a pretty high level. This coalition, at times, it's going to upset one part of the coalition. Sure. But at other times, it's a good reminder for everybody in this very diverse group to realize at least we beat the system that was the reason we all felt like we had to join together. We're going to win against that system, even though you don't get 100% of what you want. And so I would say if you're out there and you are conservative or you're more libertarian, think about joining the Libertarian Party, not in the sense that you must always like toe that line, but more in the sense of if you don't feel at home in the Republican Party, don't feel at home in the Democratic Party, maybe try out the LP here in Alabama. I know there are folks here in Alabama doing hard work in that regard, and it doesn't mean you betray Trump or you betray people that you really want to see rise up and be your champions. It just gives you another option, another place, and at the same time, you can still be part of the coalition. So I think it's a sign of the genius of this campaign. Again, there will be growing pains.
Of course.
There's sharing a bed with all sorts of different types of people. There's definitely going to be some stanky and some cold feet.
Yep.
As well as somebody right across the bed. Hey, stop staring at them things, Zuckerberg. That's rude, sir.
But like you said, if you're not joined together in this coalition, you're going to get more than likely absolutely zero of what you want.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's very, especially libertarians. I mean, your party is small. I don't see a lot of
and I've
differences.
never been an official member of the LP.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see that many differences. And I do know this: the more you're together, the further those differences are apart. I mean, you're able to see things from both sides, and even just a different opinion.
But a lot of credit to Angela McArdle, who put this strategy together to invite Trump to that convention to get these promises. And as somebody who first heard about Ross's story when it first happened, to see him now freed with a full unconditional pardon, thank you, President Donald John Trump. Thank you. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And there at Pest Pro, man, Ashley and that great team, they can help you across the board. And especially this time of year, especially you got a fireplace or a fire pit outside, you're probably getting a lot of firewood brought in.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think about it, but when you're bringing that firewood in, it's been sitting outside for God knows how long, probably for at least a year, drying. So you get bugs that live in there. And when they come in your house, they're frozen, but they come in your house, they're going to thaw out, warm back up, they're going to come back to life. So remember, at least shake that stuff off. But don't let your firewood sit in there for a long period of time, because you will be bringing in termites, those big beetles, I forget what they're called, woodburn beetles and things like that. Don't do that. And Ashley's just reminding you, those things that have been outside like that, they got bugs on them.
Oh, yeah. And then think about also mice, the rodent side. When it's cold, they want a warm spot.
Yeah, they want in, buddy.
And I have to say, as somebody who's been through that, you remember that, right, Eddie?
Oh, very much so.
When you wake up in the morning with a mouse in a glue trap screaming, you're like, man, I should have called Pest Pro first before trying to do this myself. This is terrible. Let Pest Pro Services handle any and all of your pest control needs. If you've got an emergency, like you think you have mice in the house or some infestation, of course, they're ready to help you out. But you might as well make them your everyday pest control company. Get to know Ashley and Zach and the whole team there. They'll visit on a regular basis. Make sure your house is ready to go. That number for Pest Pro Services, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or go check out their website, ppsriverregion.com, or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that team that Joey and Eddie, those guys on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the healthcare of the people of the River Region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River Region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend. Must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. We are looking forward to some improvements as this day unfolds. We'll be warming up to the upper 30s by this afternoon, and that's going to eliminate much of the travel concerns. Plenty of sunshine today, mostly clear tonight. Another low temperature in the upper teens. Tomorrow's high is a little better, but still way below normal at 44 with more sun. Over the weekend, we warm into the 50s, and that sounds like a nice improvement. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Delray to Publix.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Darren. Hey, Darren, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you gentlemen doing? How are you listeners? I hope they're doing good.
We're all right. We're all right.
Staying warm, that's for sure.
You dang right. That rough.
Yeah.
I'm one of them crazy libertarians.
Doesn't surprise me.
I like that.
Oh, yeah, all the way from 2000, early 2000s. We finally got ballot access.
Yeah.
I could tell you some stories of what these dirtbags did to us. But I was just wanting to, I don't want to get Eddie's head any bigger than it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one hell of an operation that him and Hannah run.
Thank you very much, Darren. I appreciate it.
And I can tell you from experience, I had a piece of property. I had them look at it. I don't think it was 2 months ago. And man, I didn't even seen the buyers. I signed some papers on the phone. I got my check, and I mean, you can't beat it.
I'm not surprised at all because I know this guy pretty well.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it worked out.
I don't even know who bought it.
It worked out well, and I appreciate you calling me, Darren. I really do, man.
Yes, sir. And y'all have a good day.
You too, brother.
And don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Well, it's wide open then. As long
Yeah,
as I
we
keep
can
it
have
between
a
the
lot of
ditches,
fun
I'm
today.
good.
Appreciate it, Darren.
Y'all,
See you,
y'all
buddy.
free.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Sweet Creek Farm Market. Get by there to see Reed Ingram at Sweet Creek Farm Market. He's created a beautiful establishment.
Oh, yeah. I saw some pictures from the snow.
I know.
They actually got some snow.
I know. No,
Looked
because
killer, man.
I was about to say that. I know the roads are like, go
Yeah.
home, be safe. Part of me is like, I wonder what Sweet Creek looks like right
It
now.
looks so cool, so pretty. Just that white wonderland, man.
Like,
It's
especially
amazing.
the open barn shop that they have, along with the playground and just the huge property there with the sprawling like fields and grass.
Incredibly picturesque.
And so I'm sure it was a winter wonderland in many ways. But at Sweet Creek, you can get grocery shopping done.
Yep.
I've bought butter and eggs and milk and stuff there before. Or you can do like a nice sandwich, like a big old sandwich, big enough to where you eat a good hearty lunch at the cafe, but then you save the other half, heat it up later.
Take it for
dinner.
home.
And of course, they are an award-winning cafe there at Sweet Creek, and they have coffee, all sorts of delicious drinks. So maybe you're just looking to shop around, peruse while the kids play around with all the chickens and stuff running around in the playground area. It really is a true destination. And you're going to find stuff that you're not going to normally find in those big chain stores, the big grocery stores. You're going to find unique Alabama-based goods, Alabama harvested and made goods. So y'all, again, get by, see Reed Ingram there at Sweet Creek Farm Market. They're just 2 miles south of Taylor Road on Highway 231. And when you find Reed, be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those guys on the radio, sent you. How about a little bit of a palate cleanser here?
All right.
This came out today. But before I play this, as I set it up, could you spell the word Eagles for me?
E-G-L-E.
No. Spell it correctly.
There's an A in there.
E-A-G-L-E-S. E-S. That's Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Eagles.
But Joey, when I was celebrating their win,
Mhm.
I was watching the news there, and I believe it's the mayor of the area. She spelled it a little bit different.
Yeah, her name is Sherelle Parker.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. She's the mayor of Philly. Like, the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, what is that again?
E-A-G-L-E-S.
L-E-S. Right, we're not even Eagles fans.
No.
I don't want to be an Eagles fan.
No.
So here's the mayor celebrating, right? And she's going to lead a chant. The mayor of Philly is. Let's listen in.
Let me hear you all say, E-L-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
So I wasn't even halfway paying attention when this played, and I heard that. I stopped and had to go back and rewind it. I was dying.
Let me hear you all say, E-L-G-S, Eagles!
E-L-G-S-E-S, Elgses.
Elgses. Yay. I tell you what.
Is she having a stroke?
I give our mayor a hard time, but I can guarantee he'll never do anything like that.
No. I have
Guaranteed.
disagreements with Stephen Reed. Stephen's always pretty well put together,
Right.
very well spoken.
Right.
Knows what he wants to say.
You're the mayor of the city, lady.
E-L-G-S-E-S, Eagles. I got to watch this again. I'm going to see the reaction to the guy. I'm going to watch them carefully. Let's see the guy right behind her. It looks like the chief of police.
Let me hear you all say E-L-G-S, Eagles!
Yeah, he quickly looked around.
Yeah, he said A. You can see he said A, but he's like, all right, woman.
Are we doing this?
Oh, my God. That's just absolutely beautiful. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Coming up, we should have Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances, as well as the mayor of New York.
Oh, yeah.
Eric Adams.
With Tucker.
Sitting down with Tucker Carlson, and there's some amazing clips out of that. It really is amazing how quickly the Democratic Party will turn on local officials, state officials, and even their own in the national scene. When the party leaders decide we're going in a certain direction, you better shut up and toe the line.
Yep. Ultimately, with the presidency,
Pretty
they did
amazing.
that.
Yeah. Well, and you got to wonder, again, the Democrats are going to be in the wilderness a little bit. And is it going to be someone like Eric Adams, or is it going to be somebody else who realizes I don't have to play that game to that party that just had that huge loss? I'm going to go for the brass ring and be the new leader of a different Democratic Party.
It would take some strong leadership, but I think that's what they need.
No, I think that's what we're about to see in many ways. Of course, the little games Washington plays, like you see, they came out with something else against Hegseth.
Oh, yeah, I saw
Some
that.
affidavit filed at the last second, and it's just nuts.
But how can you
Stop
believe
it.
that anymore? We've been down this road.
Yes, stop it.
So to even entertain it ticks me off.
Yes. And it's our conversation with Urbanite. Like, y'all, the corporate press, you ain't in charge anymore.
Right.
In fact, you're several years behind the curve.
But that don't mean
Doesn't mean the folks, the wild ones in this new coalition are right about everything. We're certainly not.
Right.
But y'all are playing a game that should have died a decade ago. Got caught flat-footed on it.
Yep.
So let's actually hit the future. And maybe I should be careful what I wish for, because I'm pretty certain there are going to be plenty of people who are more democratic in their outlook that will learn how to play the game soon enough. But right now, they're sort of figuring it out. Like, what the heck went wrong? Especially what you find in all these panel discussions, usually a younger person explaining to like old people like Joe and Mika.
But do you remember?
Like by the way, The View, they need to get younger. Whoa. Those old bats.
Can't even believe they're still
like they have more makeup on than Geraldo. Like, I don't get it.
Just awful.
Whew. Anyway, this part of the program, in fact, the entire hour, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you with that home. It could be you're buying a home.
Yep.
Maybe it's your first time. You need like a trusted local mortgage company to help you walk you through that home buying process from pre-approval all the way to closing day. That's Alabama Home Mortgage.
Sure is.
Or it could be it's not your first rodeo. You've bought a home before. Maybe you've bought 2 or 3 before. But say the last time you did it, it was a big old headache. There's all sorts of just lack of communication, breakdown, like surprises. It just wasn't enjoyable. And you find out after the fact, wait, I could have got a better deal than what I was even presented with. That's not going to happen with Alabama Home Mortgage. And again, that's whether you're looking to purchase a home or refinance a home. Could be to get credit card debt off your back. That hasn't gone away.
Nope.
Or it could be you just want to reinvest in your property, yourself, your family. And of course, they love helping out the veterans community. There are a lot of veterans walking around who don't know of the immense benefits they earn through their service. So if you are a veteran, call up Alabama Home Mortgage, whether for a purchase or a refi. They know the latest with the VA home loan programs, and especially a refi, they can turn that around in like average 16 days, like
That
2
is
weeks,
amazing.
and you've got a refinance
That is
done.
amazing.
And it's the best deal in town, right, Eddie? The VA stuff.
By far.
So y'all check out Alabama Home Mortgage today. Call Kim and Madeline at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby likes it.
Now you can add the power of digital advertising to the #1 reach of radio. Let Blue Water's 20 years of local advertising and marketing success show you how. Grow your business with a complete suite of digital solutions, combined with the reach of the most listened to radio group in the river region. Call us or go to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out how we can increase your return on investment. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
For more information, send an email to digital@bluewaterbroadcasting.com.
For many children, stability is something they have never experienced. At the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches, we offer hope, healing, and a family to children in need. But behind every success story, our house parents are the heart of our ranches. We're looking for compassionate couples to join our mission. We provide housing, medical benefits, a 401k, paid vacation, and the chance to make a lasting difference. The Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches. Be the love, be the guidance, be the family they need. Visit alsyr.org.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Let me hear you all say E-L-G-L-E-S, Eagle!
I'm now worried about my cousin who lives in Philly. Like, when the mayor's making mistakes like that, you got to think, what other mistakes are being honestly made? I don't mean like corruptly made. I mean honestly made by leadership there in Philadelphia. 272-9228 is the number if you want to get in on the show. But hold your horses, because on the phone lines we have Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm great. Survived the cold. Didn't have any burst pipes or any crazy nonsense like that. Everything good on your end?
Yeah. Got a lot of snow in the country, and the closer I got to town, the less it was.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So anyway, we're open at work just like you and Eddie. Who would have figured?
On a day like today, you think I wouldn't be here because a little snow? That just excites me more.
I just figured you took this as a good excuse to take out.
No, that was yesterday.
I mean, what did you do all day? Sit on top of the washing machine?
I had a little bit of stuff to do, and it just kept domino affecting on me. I was like, I got to get this done. So at about 1 o'clock, I was able to sit down.
On those washing machines.
It was one of those days where everything kept going wrong and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So I made the call early, and yeah, sure enough, about 1 o'clock, I was like, okay, I can sit down now.
There you go.
Yeah.
And, speaking of washing machines, the appliance side of the store there, folks. I mean, when you walk in, you're going to see the great TVs and the massage chairs and all that great stuff on the entertainment electronics side. But you keep walking, and there's a whole huge part of the store with, filling out a kitchen, or if you need a new washer or dryer unit, y'all have many of options, right?
Oh, yeah. We've got Maytags and Whirlpools and Electrolux and LG and Speed Queen. So, we got all the price points, all the different levels, front load, top load, lots of choices.
Michael, do you have those washer and dryers in one combo that I see are coming out now, where it's one machine that can do both of them?
Well, okay, so we have stack units
that
have a washer and a dryer, but they're two units built together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the verdict is still out if those other ones are going to work.
That was going to be my question to you.
To.
Yeah.
I think they'd be good for like a single guy.
Right.
That's barely washing clothes in the first place.
But say a family of 5, I kind of think they would put that through the ringer.
I think a family of 5 is going to need 2 big tubs. and I think we have some customers that have 2 washers and 1 dryer.
I've seen that, especially with big families. Yep.
Yeah. So.
And with those appliances, y'all deliver, set it up, and we'll even take away the old ones?
Yes, sir. We'll even give you a little school on which buttons to press.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that a lot, too. So, folks, you can always shop, peruse at home at thinkcohens.com. But I really encourage you, they're open today. Stop by the Boulevard, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery, open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael and be like, I heard you on the radio show. Eddie was asking all those questions, too many questions.
He's a question man.
That's what I do.
Now today we're going to be here until 3.
Okay.
So tomorrow we'll be on normal days. Today we're on Eddie hours.
Gotcha.
Appreciate it, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Y'all have a good day.
See you, brother.
Plus, you didn't answer my question. You sitting on the washing machine all day yesterday?
No, I heard your question. I just was, no, that's not what I was doing. I had
you had to bring up the lift, so I'm bringing up that.
Oh, well, I kind of got a stackable, so I can't really do that anyway. So. Now that you mention it.
Isn't it fun, folks, how you get to know a person? You can ask a fairly benign question like, how's your sleep going? And you really don't know. Right. And you're just starting something, asking a pretty simple question. Is the dog still hogging most of the bed?
Man.
That's a great dog, though. Yeah.
I was going to bring her today, but Susanna didn't have to work because of the road, so but she'll probably be with us tomorrow.
Roxy?
Yep.
Man, I like that
That's
dog.
another reason I wanted to snow.
By the way, I'm driving Perry Hill to go home, and right where CTE is and all that little strip center over there, there's just a beautiful husky playing in the snow. I don't know if it was from the executive park right there or from like the little strip center, but like the last time it really snowed in Auburn, again, there's a husky on the horizon. It's like, am I tripping? Like, what is this?
It always cracks me up. Cold weather like this, people will put out the post, hey, keep your pets inside.
Oh, yeah.
And then it cracks me up because Karens will see a husky out and they will call the dog catchers. And then so people have to put out, here's a picture of my husky. He's loving the snow. He's perfectly fine. Please don't call the law.
They really do love it.
Yeah.
As opposed to other animals, it's so cute. Like cats they don't want to even
No, thank you.
And then even like the little dogs are like very gingerly going
they're
through
like,
it.
guess who's peeing in the house today?
Right.
This one. Yeah,
Right.
they don't want to go out in that.
And sometimes I wish I had that excuse. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. 2 people are dead, another wounded by gunfire at a Nashville area high school. A 17-year-old shooter killed a female student, then turned the gun on himself. Another student grazed by a bullet and in stable condition. The investigation is underway. U.S. officials say the Pentagon will begin deploying as many as 1,500 active duty troops to help secure the southern border in the coming days now. It puts in motion plans President Donald Trump laid out in executive orders to crack down on immigration. Half of U.S. adults think increasing security at the border should be a high priority for the federal government. That's according to an AP Norc poll. On Wall Street, the Dow had 112 points, the Nasdaq adding 255. This is SRN News.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-260-7955. 800-260-7955. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-260-7955.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. Man's best friend deserves nothing but the best. That's what you'll find at MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville. They carry only the highest quality dog food brands. MPM in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open 7 to 5:30 on weekdays and Saturdays 8 to 2. Call Clint Smith at 334-361-8818.
Well, hi, everybody. We are looking forward to some improvements as this day unfolds. We'll be warming up to the upper 30s by this afternoon, and that's going to eliminate much of the travel concerns. Plenty of sunshine today, mostly clear tonight. Another low temperature in the upper teens. Tomorrow's high is a little better, but still way below normal at 44 with more sun. Over the weekend, we warm into the 50s, and that sounds like a nice improvement. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
1819 News.
A Colbert County judge ruled a man charged with the 2024 murder of John Kevin Farley did not act in self-defense during the shooting. 72-year-old Jerry Wayne Fisher argued he shot Farley in self-defense. He cited threatening behavior and a history of property disputes. The judge determined Fisher's use of deadly force was not justified. Officials elevated Fisher's manslaughter charges to murder last August. His trial is slated to begin next month. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you. To have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
Prattville Pride, an LGBTQ organization, is set to participate in the city's February 1st Mardi Gras parade after securing a federal court order to join last December's Christmas parade. The group faced initial rejection last year due to concerns about safety and the suitability of their float, but was granted participation after a judge's ruling. The city's parade rules, which ban certain flags and allow officials to reject entries deemed inappropriate, remain unchanged. While Prattville Pride appears to have received approval this time, it's unclear if further legal disputes will arise. I'm Katie Hyde, filling in for Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
This is the Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Joey Clark.
Yeah, that guy. It still cracks me up. 272-9228. It's like, I think Joey just laughs at any time somebody has an Asian accent. I'm like, often, not like if somebody's being serious, but stuff like that, I freaking love it.
See,
all day, every day, baby.
Those are things that got Eddie in trouble because
Really?
it's funnier when they're angry, and then they get really angry when you start giggling, and they, what's so funny? What do you find so funny? Like,
and plus, like, it's ruined anybody in the podcast comedy space because Bobby Lee is just, they constantly are doing that.
It's hysterical.
They have whole pages set up for just Theo Vaughn's reaction. Like, be my dad. Oh, Bobby.
Bobby had to tell Theo Vaughn, you know I'm not Chinese, right? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, we've been friends for 20-something years. I just assumed you're Chinese.
Oh, welcome back to the program. Last hour here of the show. And so keeping on this theme of, like, it's not like I'm looking to help them. I just think it's a story that will develop and grow in this new media environment, in this new age where the people in social media dominate, not, say, the corporate press. Mm-hmm. What are the Democrats going to do? And so let's start with one Democrat who got on the wrong side of the official party, and he's now singing his song.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I haven't watched the whole interview yet. It dropped last night. I was too busy watching Megan Fox be an android, psycho android.
Well, that's what you get. Pretty women.
Don't ask a robot to watch Casablanca with you. That's all I'm saying.
Pretty women come with their own special set of problems.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyway, here is New York City's Mayor Eric Adams on with Tucker Carlson. And this just little minute-and-a-half clip speaks volume.
All right.
Did you tell the White House that?
Over and over again, the impact of what these
and they
dollars...
didn't seem to care at all.
It appears to me that there was a bigger focus on the national election and not what it was doing to the cities. And we started to build a coalition of other mayors, because when I was standing alone talking about this, it appears as though that, well, Eric, why are you complaining and no one else?
Man, he's so New York, sticking on the accent.
Very much so.
So exaggerated, but I like it.
Just complaining. And then other mayors started to see what was happening in their cities. And I started meeting with the mayor of Chicago and Denver and other mayors and said, we have to be uniform around this issue.
It sounds like they treated you with contempt.
Again, I think they used the terminology, you were not being a good Democrat. I think that was their philosophy, that I was supposed to silently watch what happens to this city. And I love this city. This is a city that I gave my life to protect. And I was watching the erosion. We were getting almost 8,000 migrants and asylum seekers a week, 16,000 every 2 weeks. And we were being compelled by the Legal Aid Society to find them housing within a short period of time until we had to go back to court and fight that this humanitarian crisis is not what is normally someone has the right to have shelter within the city. And they were coming in 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. It was a constant overturn.
Now, Tucker pushes back, I think, at some points in the interview, like, well, y'all were a sanctuary city. He's like, well, I didn't want to mean that. And it's interesting, like, when you're actually having, and I'd say this as somebody who jabbers on the radio, I'm not running squat other than this show. When you actually have to sit in the chair, whether you're a mayor, a governor, you're heading up a budget committee, whatever, when you actually have to sit in the chair where the rubber meets the road, that should be your true North Star. It's not your priors, not your ideology, as much as you might proclaim my principles and all this stuff. It's like, yes, it's good to have principles. Obviously, it's good to have a well-developed conscience, but you also have to be practical and keen about things. And it's often these executive administrators at the local level that do see the problem. And it's going to upset the National Party. It's going to upset the Republicans. It's going to upset the Democrats. But if they actually have spines,
right.
And again, this guy's a little late to this, though. He after they indicted him,
they turned on him.
He really started.
He was down with the program till they turned on him.
Right. I think he saw an issue. He's like, this is insanity. 24,000 people a month by his estimate. That's incredible.
How can you begin to keep up with that?
It's not even just taking them in. It's like,
all the
you have
services
to set everything up.
Yeah. It's 24,000 homeless people that have nothing that show up at your door.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be folks like Eric Adams. Maybe his name is mud because of the indictment or whatever. That's going to be up for Democrats to decide in some primary. But it's going to be folks that are sort of breaking with the leaders of that party who just lost that I think will be rewarded very handsomely going forward. Doesn't mean you got to become a Republican. It doesn't mean you have to become a libertarian or anything else other than what you are. But it's a wake-up call of y'all lost the plot. And when you see a lot of folks that would have easily been in your camp just 5 years ago.
Yeah, oh yeah.
8 years ago. You lost a lot of them. You lost the working class.
Oh, that's
which I believe Eric Adams says in that interview with Tucker. Like, that's a wake-up call.
But how can, as a working class guy, how can you stand there and defend you're taking care of illegal aliens and you're taking it from me? And not only that, I'm paying for it, but you're taking away any kind of benefit that I was getting and giving it to them.
Right.
How could you explain that away?
But they kept trying to do it.
Yeah.
They kept trying to do the whole Trump is awful, Trump is evil, Trump is bad. And you got to wonder, for a second it looked like, oh, the delay, deny, throw anything you can into the gears to make sure it doesn't move quickly.
Right.
Well, it seems like that little truce is over, Eddie. Marco Rubio got through. 99 to nothing. Because Rubio...
He's one of them, though.
Yeah, he's one of them. He's a continuation of a lot of that stuff.
Yep.
But here is Tom Cotton. And he is, what would you say in this clip? He's pissed off.
Good.
Because something just happened. They were trying to get through John Ratcliffe as CIA director.
Yeah.
Thinking he's already been approved for other big jobs in executive government. He's already been vetted. He's got security clearances at the highest levels. He was voted out of committee. Let's get this thing done. Let's do another 99 to 0 or 80 something to whatever.
Yeah.
Here's Tom Cotton. This is right after Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut, the nutmeg state, most miserable place on earth. I say that knowing people from Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Tom Cotton reacting to this. It seems like the speedy confirmation of Trump appointees isn't quite happening just yet.
John Ratcliffe to be the CIA director tomorrow. Not today, not yesterday when it should have happened, but tomorrow. But the senator from Connecticut has decided to object at the last minute. I don't really understand the objection to Mr. Ratcliffe. He was confirmed by this Senate to be the Director of National Intelligence. He was fully vetted through the bipartisan process on the Senate Intelligence Committee. We voted him out yesterday on a 14-3 vote. Senator Schumer stood here yesterday and talked about how we're going to cooperate on highly qualified, capable nominees with integrity, which John Ratcliffe is. Yet the only vote we got yesterday was Senator Rubio. Now, we're not going to have a vote today, and apparently we're not going to have a vote tomorrow, which means I hope nobody's making any plans for the weekend or the evenings, because we're going to get these nominees confirmed, starting with Mr. Ratcliffe, and then moving on to Mr. Hegseth, and moving on to Mr. Nome, the easy way or the hard way. We tried to cooperate with the Democrats. The cooperation has not been forthcoming.
Good.
So I guess it's going to be the hard way.
That's it. That's it.
Starting on Thursday. So, Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that at a time to be determined.
Yeah,
by
and
the
then there's all some nerdy crap, parliamentary crap.
I mean, I didn't, not surprised, and we all saw this coming, but as ready as Trump was with everything else, why wasn't anyone else ready? They knew this was going to be a tactic. It's the only tactic they have. It's stall, stall, stall.
Well, no, I think there were a lot of promises made, and then, one senator can object to a thing, and here we go.
Yeah.
And Chris Murphy's logic was, well, no, Ratcliffe is really politicized stuff. You mean he actually called out the other political aspects of the using intelligence? He used intelligence for political purposes. No, he was responding to the 51 intelligence agents, often former CIA directors, all this stuff, who said it's all the hallmarks of a Russian information drop and all this stuff.
He did. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, the only reason he's wanting to delay the vote is because someone called him this morning and said, I need you to do that favor. You know me.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And by the way, yesterday I called this because the news was Trump was going to revoke that 51 who signed that letter saying the Hunter Biden laptop was all that. He was going to revoke their security clearance.
And he was very excited.
And my prediction was they're going to he and haw about it and say, well, we didn't say that. We said it was all the hallmarks. We didn't say, in fact, it was like Russian disinformation. You little weasel. Yeah. You used your security clearance. You used the so-called prestige of your former positions to lie in a systematic way that was then teed up like we're frickin' 5 years old in T-ball for a geriatric old man to have it in the middle of a debate. Well, how are you going after my son? And all these 51 intelligence agents said this was all the Russian stuff. So I predicted these little weasels would hang their hat on that. Here's John Brennan yesterday with Andrea Mitchell. Yeah.
CIA Director John Brennan.
She's so
You were a
gross.
signatory to that letter. Your name was also on the list, but it's not clear to me that you had a clearance because I thought that the President Trump, tried to cancel your clearances back in 2018. If you want to clear that up.
Yeah, he said in 2018 that he was going to take my security clearance. My security clearances were never taken at that time. And the only reason why I still had a security clearance, as I have for the past number of years since I left government service, was for the benefit of the government.
Right.
So that if the CIA or another government agency wanted to call me in to discuss a classified matter, they'd do that. And so it was really for the government's benefit. It was facilitate those classified discussions with myself as well as with former directors as well as other former members of the intelligence community that had those clearances. So again, yesterday's EO was bizarre, among many of the bizarre executive orders that he had signed out. And as you point out, he misrepresented the facts in that executive order because it said that we had suggested that the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation. No, we said it was for the hallmarks of Russian information operations, including the dumping of accurate information, which is what we said in that letter. So again, this was just, his effort to try to get back at those individuals who have criticized him openly and publicly in the past, and I think very legitimately.
I, for one, was very excited. The reason he got rid of your security clearance is because you're a lying piece of crap, much like the other ones.
Yeah.
So you can stand on whatever grandstanding you think you got, but the American public thinks you're a lying piece of crap. And if I ever get to see you in public, I'll make sure I remind you of that.
Actually, the facts say, oh, wait, so somebody can't weave a yarn, tell a tall tale with carefully selected facts, weasel words.
That's what he's doing now.
All this stuff.
That's what he's doing now.
Yeah. What's the old line about the corporate press I stole from Michael Malice? Their corporate press is often factual but not truthful. Yeah, and this is, again, everybody wants to get down into these little, narrow factual things, but it's often selectively chosen and to somebody's benefit. At the end of the day, John Brennan, you and everybody else, you're a lying piece of crap, as Eddie just said, because you used the power and prestige of your so-called experience and position to lie to the American people and cover up for a corrupt family that just pardoned themselves because they're so corrupt on the way out the door.
Yep. So that benefit that he felt he gave the American people, I'll be the first to congratulate him on being relieved of that.
Right.
Don't have that burden anymore.
Now, that said, you know how Trump was like, oh, look, Biden left me a letter here in the desk. It could have been years. I forgot.
A reporter had to remind him, hey, there's a letter in there.
Well, that same reporter is now going to read. Trump released the letter. I don't think I can remember this being done.
No. I remember jokes about it, but I don't ever remember it actually being done.
So the letter was released. This is the letter Joe Biden left Donald Trump as he was leaving and Trump is coming in.
Okay.
Let's listen in together.
Dear President Trump, as I take leave of this sacred office, I wish you and your family all the best in the next 4 years. The American people and people around the world look to this house for steadiness in the inevitable storms of history. And my prayer is that in the coming years will be a time of prosperity, peace, and grace for our nation. May God bless you and guide you as he has blessed and guided our beloved country since our founding. Joe Biden, 1/20/25.
You think he wrote it?
I don't know.
Nah. Oh, come on.
I don't know. I'd like to still believe there is an aspect of all of this stuff. You see it, I was mentioning it yesterday. You start to see the little human side of things. Like when J.D. Vance was swearing in Rubio. The two of them, it was the first time J.D. Vance had ever sworn somebody in. And they obviously know each other well. Yeah. They can't help. They're sitting there like cracking up and laughing. Essentially like, you don't screw up. No, you don't screw it up. And they're making each other laugh as they're trying to take this serious oath. And I think even the folks that you've been taught to hate, who have been proven to be lying pieces of crap and stuff, there is always this human side. And so my takeaway from that is, wait, you wrote that letter. I'm going to say he did write it. You wrote that letter to the guy you called like essentially Hitler?
Yeah.
So I'd rather believe that's actually what Biden believes. All the Hitler talk was just stuff for the folks to get them all riled up.
I don't think he wrote the letter, mainly because just that last, I think yesterday, maybe the day before, Mike Johnson came out with a story of when he found out Biden was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And
Cocoa Puffs are delicious.
They are, and they will drive you cuckoo. But I don't think that man has the mental capacity to write that. He might feel it in his heart, sure, but I don't think he could put those words to paper.
272-9228. Hey, this part of the program?
Yeah.
Brought to you by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue.
Man, I got to get by there. I'm probably, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm just going to have some breakfast.
I was going to get back to working out.
You know what you can work out with? Big old thing of grits.
Man, that does sound tasty.
Some cheese grits?
Sounds incredibly delicious.
Yes. And you get the big spoon, so you get the workout. We'll get you an extra size. So you get the workout. You can work on them guns. You don't think so?
No, just what time?
You're a late guy, so whatever.
We'll do this off air. Because I do want to get by there.
I got to get by there.
Like, I love the breakfast at Smokehouse Pit Barbecue, and you might be like, wait, a barbecue place that serves breakfast? Yes.
The best breakfast around.
It is a great, I would call it a Southern breakfast.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's safe to say.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And, I mean, so Southern, you can get like a fried bologna biscuit.
Exactly.
Right, and it's good.
You get Kaneka sausage.
You can get a breakfast roll custom made, or those cheese grits, or a breakfast sandwich, or you can get a big sampler with a big old pancake and all the different side meats and eggs. Oh.
You can get country ham. You ever had country ham, Joey?
It's all right.
It's good. It's salty, but it's good.
It's all right. And, of course, they do have that amazing barbecue, best barbecue in the river region, whether you're looking for a pulled pork sandwich or some camp stew to keep you warm in these cold, cold days.
Oh, yeah.
Or you're looking for some ribs, just a nom on.
With some fried okra, some mac cheese.
Oh, yeah. All those sides are fantastic, too.
Amazing.
They've got the original recipes back there at Smokehouse Pit Barbecue, the ones folks fell in love with all those decades ago. So check them out today. You can always go to smokehousepitbarbecue.com or like them on Facebook to see the latest of what they got going on there, especially like live entertainment they might have on a Friday
on
night.
Weekends.
But, of course, you can just stop by. Same location they've always been, right there, Main Street in Millbrook. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. So I want to go to the point I was making with Jeff Poor back at the beginning of the show.
All right.
It seems both of our senators, if you can say it that way,
okay,
both senators here from Alabama are, they're almost like competing for the limelight in the media. So we got a lot of like different clips here.
They are getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, and I like it.
Yeah,
if it is a competition, I'm here for it.
I'm down with that.
So here we'll start with Senator Britt. We'll start with the junior senator.
Okay.
Senator Katie Britt talking about the new day. America is back, baby. It's a new golden age. But she didn't say it that way. Let's listen in.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. Welcome in the Republican senator from the great state of Alabama, Katie Britt.
This is on Newsmax.
Senator Britt, good to see you today. Thanks for coming on. Take us through your how you're seeing today and how it's gone.
Gosh, it has been incredible, and I am listening to your coverage, and I just could not agree more. And when you talk about that pride and that hope, that's what Americans feel today. I was sitting next to my colleagues that came in with me in the 118th class, Ted Budd, Eric Schmidt, Pete Ricketts, and we said, America is back. So this hopefulness, this of like safety and security of American citizens, prosperity, opportunity coming to each and every American, that's what we feel. And you feel like you have someone, just like you said, President Trump has their back, our men and women in uniform. The American people feel like they finally have a commander-in-chief back in the office that has their back as well. So it's an exciting day, and you can feel the energy all across this city, and I believe all across the country as well.
Katie, when you became a senator, what did you anticipate it would be like? What did you anticipate it would be like working closely with a president who's in the same party? And what does that feel like today as the 47th president took the oath of office?
Yeah, that is a great question. Look, I have not had an opportunity over the last 2 years to feel the level of unity that I feel today. It has been building and building since President Trump came in.
Isn't that a Rick James song? Unity.
Yes, it is, Joe. Unity. The unity ring.
What we need is unity.
Met with all of the Republican senators this summer, and we just continue to feel like we are the party of parents, the party of hardworking Americans. You know, we are the party of opportunity. He has given us a vision. The American people has put their stamp of approval on that vision, and now it's our job to execute. So whether you're looking, no matter where you're looking in the Republican conference, people understand that, and they understand that now is time to get to work. So there's an excitement, there's a level of feeling we're actually going to achieve results for the American people, which is what we're going to do today. Today, the Republican Senate will go back into session in the next hour. The very first thing that we're going to do is pass the Laken-Riley Act. It'll be the final passage. This is a moment for America. It not only honors Laken's legacy, it ensures that Americans' safety and security comes first. It is a common sense bill that would never happen without the leadership of President Trump, the momentum he has built. Americans finally have a voice again, and they're going to see that today with the Republican Senate. Send it back to the House. It'll be the very first bill that President Trump signs into law, and I think that.
Yep. First bill.
That was the first one?
And they did it.
Good.
It passed. It absolutely passed. So it sounds like she's in good spirits. Now I want to go to Coach, because Coach was also on recently talking about new sheriff. Donald Trump will put people back to work, is the quote from Coach.
Daddy's home.
Let's listen in to Coach Tuberville.
Senator Tommy Tuberville. Senator Tuberville, welcome back, sir. I don't know if I want to make Gen Zers great again or not. I got to think about that one, sir. We'll think about that together. I do want to ask you, though, some pretty strong regulatory executive orders yesterday. One that really interests me. I mean, there's one that says no new regulatory orders. I love that. But this business about Schedule F, anybody who's engaged in policy, I don't know exactly how many of them there are, but I mean, some estimates run as 10,000, some estimates go as high as 50,000. What the order says is that a president has the right to fire them if he or she doesn't like the way they're behaving. This is a long time Trump goal. What do you think of it, Senator?
Well, it doesn't make any difference what they think. President Trump's got an agenda, Larry. He's going to take it forward. You know, he's been sitting around for 4 years waiting and thinking about all this, looking at it. He's had people investigating all these things. Yeah, when he makes a decision, it's going to happen. Now, there's going to be lawsuits going everywhere. There's a lawyer just smiling from ear to ear. But guess what? We got a new sheriff in town. He has been serious about this all along. He's going to take control of this. He's going to put people back to work. He's going to make sure everybody goes with the right regulations. And Larry, it's a different world up here. Just one day I walk around here in the Capitol, and the media, the mainstream media, is going absolutely berserk.
They've probably gone berserk. I just think Trump is so optimistic. His inauguration speech, it was businesslike, but it was very optimistic, talked a lot about success, talked a lot about unity, and I think people want this. I mean, there's a reason he's so darn popular right now. People want it. I don't care, Democrat, Republican, Independent, black, white, whatever. I think people want optimism, and they want to see somebody who can solve all the problems that Joe Biden's dark period brought.
Yeah, and they want to hear their leaders talk, Larry. Joe Biden never gave a press conference, maybe one or two in a year's time. President Trump gives press conferences. He speaks to the American people. He has a game plan. He understands what's going on, what's good, what's bad. Is he going to be able to fix everything? Sure, he's not going to be able to fix it all, but he's going to try to get it in the right direction. We are in a tailspin right now, and he understands that in every area, the economics, foreign relations, the border, crime, you name it, it is out of control. And he's got a plan for it because he's been thinking about it for 4 years.
Last one, Senator Tuberville. Big story, big headline in today's Wall Street Journal that, believe it or not, Hamas is effectively retaking control of Gaza.
Why does Larry Kudlow always sound like he's on the verge of a burp?
I don't know, man.
I mean, I often burp, but that's too much nicotine,
It's just so over the top.
Yeah. But anyway, let's finish this.
And part of this is a function of this new ceasefire. Now, I can't believe President Trump will permit this, but that's what the Biden ceasefire had. What do you make of that, sir?
Well, what I make of it is the Philadelphia corridor between Egypt and Gaza. That's where they re-up all of their recruits. They bring people underneath the fence through the corridor there. And when they had a ceasefire, even Netanyahu said this, when we do this, they're going to re-infiltrate Gaza. They're going to restock. They're going to have everything that they need to fight back. And all it's just slowing the war down right now at a period of time. It's coming back. I just hope we can get this done. But again, if we could continue to let them reload every time there's a ceasefire, you're not ever going to have a solution to this.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Again, that's Coach Tuberville on with Kudlow, and both senators seem upbeat. I will say Tuberville's is a little more obvious sometimes.
Oh, well,
some of those like hearings, confirmation hearings, he just looks like a kid in a candy store.
Well, we've seen him for the last couple of years have to just take crap sandwiches left and right, so it's good to see him smile.
Yeah, right now, Mark Wayne Mullen talking on Fox News, essentially confirming what we were talking about earlier, what Tom Cotton was getting at, that, they're now doing the delay game with the cabinet picks.
Which you kind of had to plan for that. So,
and you just heard on the Israel side of things, which did you hear Trump say when he was asked about is the ceasefire and the hostage exchange going to hold and what's going to happen? And he goes, well, it's not my war. It's not our war. It's their war.
Yeah.
So that's a fascinating thing to say.
It made me smile, Joey.
Yeah. That's
to hear a president say that's actually
America
not our
first.
war. Yeah.
Yeah. America first approach to that, while not being able to be accused of anything in terms of hating the state of Israel. Try to convince people Trump actually hates Israel. Give me a freaking break.
Right.
Now, on another front, I think even more complicated than Israel and Gaza, who would have thunk it, is the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. President Trump overnight warned his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin to end the war in Ukraine quickly or else face high levels of taxes, tariffs, and sanctions. He took to Truth Social, Trump did, on Wednesday to double down on his criticism of Putin and Russia's hurting economy, saying, quote, settle now and stop the ridiculous war. It's only going to get worse. That last sentence is only going to get worse was in all caps. That's why I said it that way. If we don't make a deal, and soon, I have no other choice but to put high levels of taxes, tariffs, and sanctions on anything being sold by Russia to the United States and various other participating countries. Let's get this war, which never would have started if I were president, over with. We can do it the easy way or the hard way, and the easy way is always better. It's time to make a deal. No more lives should be lost. Trump yesterday also kind of during the impromptu press conference after that infrastructure announcement, saying, I don't think the Ukrainian numbers of the dead are true. I think they're much higher. They're letting out. I think the Russians are lying about their numbers. He sort of just called out the
Both
usual
sides.
war propaganda BS. It said, I want people to stop dying. Millions are dying.
Dude, after watching, and you've seen them, the videos that you can see. Yeah, these numbers they're putting out is
No, and the line Trump kept using is, and it's flat, beautiful farmland, and the only thing that stops a bullet is a body. He kept saying that. And he's right. Go watch those videos.
I'm telling you, it's some of the most gruesome, because it's true to life fighting. It's true to life. And people usually in the videos are not the survivors.
No. Well, and it's almost like World War I again.
It is. That's what it reminds me of.
It's a huge no man's
that
land.
close, yeah.
Like, because if you try to take big formations of troops out into no man's land, I mean, everybody's got drones, everybody's got the ISR capabilities now. It's pretty heinous. God forbid anything like that comes to our doorstep.
But I did hear a report about the North Korean fighters. And one that surprised me, I've seen a couple, but one report in particular said that they are committing suicide rather than be caught. And because that's what they've been told and trained to do. That if you, literally, same as propaganda that we were told, or they were told about us, if you get caught, they'll eat you. Yep.
272-9228. That's gruesome.
It is, but that's the type of fear they have to instill in them.
And then on another front, in terms of, it's more close to the United States, the declaration that these cartels in Mexico and all operating throughout our country and most of the Western Hemisphere, they've been labeled foreign terrorist organizations, which opens up a lot of financial tools to restrict them. And it also opens up the door to put our, what do they call them, Tier 1 operators?
Yep.
Need to talk to Troy Carrico about that next time he's on. I've seen clips, guys that say participated with special forces, saying, the cartels are very violent. They're very good at the violence they do, the extreme violence they do.
Yeah.
They haven't met extreme violence like
Right.
we know how to do.
They haven't met it. They just delivered it.
Right.
Big difference.
So that gets into questions of what is the Mexican government going to do? But then you look at that and you're like, how many of y'all are on the take? Out of fear or because
That's
you're just as
it.
corrupt as the other folks?
I cannot think that anyone, and no offense to any of them, but I can't think of any of them that are not on the take, because I've seen and I know you either take my gold or you take my lead.
Right. So it's going to be a wild ride, like I keep saying, folks. Everybody's very happy. You heard both of our senators here from Alabama. Everybody's very happy, but still.
Hold on to your butts.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's us?
It's Papa B.
Hey, Papa B.
Hey, guys. So good to hear y'all's voice today.
You too.
Trump has proven to my satisfaction that at heart he's a dove. He doesn't like war.
Right.
Doesn't want war. I think he's already also proven to everybody's satisfaction that God help you if you don't, go ahead and get along and make a deal for peace. Because, the counterpuncher in him comes out and he does not hold back.
Right.
Really kind of my kind of man, he's like that's exactly what I would wish for in the president.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, although it's not very talked about very much, he's also a polyglot, which means he speaks a lot of different languages. He probably speaks to Xi Jinping and at least broken Mandarin. And a lot of these world leaders, they may very well speak to them in their own language when they're, to themselves. I don't know if that's widely known or not. Did y'all know it?
No, I didn't hear that he is multilingual.
Well, right. Again, that's some interesting side notes that I've heard of. About this bill of the Congress, the Senate slow walking these nominations. Of course, it was known they were going to try to do that. And I don't know if y'all remember, but early on, or late in the campaign, and possibly right after the election, Trump said something to the effect like, he and Mike Johnson have a plan. And everybody was like, what plan? What plan? What plan do you have? Well, this is the plan. if the Senate does not go ahead and approve his appointees, and they try to slow walk it, then Mike Johnson is just going to call a recess.
Oh yeah.
And then he's going to go ahead and appoint them anyway. Yeah. So they can either go ahead and do it or make him do it as a recess appointment. But one way or the other, they will get approved either prior to anything like a recess or afterwards, by vote in open session. So I wouldn't worry too much about this time delay. I guess it's going to give them a few days, but not much longer, because we've got to get people, especially what's that chick's name? That military, former military girl, out of Hawaii.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh, give me some Tulsi. My goodness, I love that girl. I don't know about any of the things that they brought up, the difficulties that they're having, but we've got to have somebody at the ODNI right away, because these appointees, Joe Biden, are actually running the place, even though the heads of the place have been gotten out of there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, you need somebody who's been on the wrong side of the intelligence community who Trump can trust.
Exactly. But anyway, well, all right. So I'm glad. I didn't know whether y'all knew all about that, but thought I would add my 2 cents. I appreciate y'all letting me call in as usual. Let me go in the show.
Thanks, Papa B.
Thank you, Papa B.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation before we close up shop. Again, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro. They really can help you out. And especially in a way where if you're like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Like, what is that creature? What is that insect on my doorstep?
I've seen that on their Facebook page many times where they will post, or someone else will post to them, what is this?
Right.
That's how I found the wood scorpions.
Please help me.
Yes.
And you just never knew what those were? They were just the stuff of your nightmares?
I thought they were not native to Alabama. I thought maybe because we'd moved, it was in a box or something like that. But she quickly let me know, no, Eddie, those are native to Alabama. You'll find them in your house. You'll find them in wood piles. And we can come out and put some poison down and take care of that for you. And they have. But that being said, I still see them sometimes outside in the wood pile. And it still makes me scream like a girl. I ain't going to lie.
Well, and the beauty of Pest Pro Services, too, is even before you're a customer, you can go to their Facebook page. Just look up Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. And it's Pest Pro, all caps, Pest Pro, and then Services. And yesterday they put out winter tips for the home.
Good idea. Yep.
So for the home, sealed drafts to keep cold air and insects out there, right?
Good idea. This little window here behind us. Good idea.
Of course, protect pipes, insulate exposed pipes to prevent freezing and bursting. Inspect the roof, look for loose shingles or leaks.
Yep.
That's why you need to call River Region Contracting.
Exactly.
For pets, warm shelters, of course, unless it's, I guess, a husky. Still bring them inside, but it's like, okay, you can place some more there. Bobby. You named your husky Bobby? Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
All right. Why not? And then, of course, cleanup, antifreeze or salt, which can be harmful to pets. Be careful about those sorts of things. And so it's these sorts of things, like in particular with pest protection, check your firewood for insects hitching a ride inside.
Yep.
And seal up your food. Keep food in airtight containers and clean up crumbs and spills right away. Pests love an easy meal. And that's going to extra attract them.
The sugar ants, man, they will come. They will come like there's no tomorrow.
And if you want just folks that are local, down to earth, and very skilled professionals, that's Pest Pro Services. They are ready to help you out. You might as well make them your everyday, your regular pest control company. That number, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com, or as like I said, search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Fortunately, the travel concerns have eased, but we're still in for a very cold night tonight with mostly clear skies. The overnight low temperature falls to the upper teens. Tomorrow is a little better with more sunshine, but still way below normal with a high around 44. Lower 20s again on Thursday night. Then over the weekend, we warm into the 50s. That will seem like a major heat wave. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Is your business feeling the heat of cyber attacks? Tired of worrying about ransomware, data breaches, downtime, and employee mistakes? GTI Managed IT Solutions has been your trusted partner since 1999, safeguarding and supporting businesses like yours from the ever-evolving threats in the digital world. GTI, your peace of mind is guaranteed. Call us today at 819-4650 or visit gtinow.com.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For many years, my team and I have worked diligently to provide our veterans with top-notch service, as it is our honor to serve those who have served us in the armed forces. Madeline and I are certified veteran lending specialists. Nationwide, there are over 22 million veterans that qualify to purchase a home through the VA loan program, yet less than 2 million of them currently have a VA home loan. Many lenders do not keep up with the ever-changing guidelines and benefits of the VA loan program. They are intimidated by the program, resulting in many veterans not obtaining VA loans. This is unacceptable. The VA home loan program offers service members and veterans with 100% financing. You've already paid your down payment. If you are currently serving or have honorably discharged, we would love an opportunity to discuss how the VA program can serve you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Thank you for your service. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
Our friends at Alabama Power are ready for the challenges that ice, fallen trees, and extreme temperatures can bring. And you can also take steps to prepare. Keep your home safe and your energy cost in check with tips on winter storm preparedness and how to manage your energy use during the cold weather. Visit Alabama Power for helpful information and to find out how to stay warm, safe, and energy efficient this winter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Let's go right to the phones, folks, and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing, man?
Man, isn't this weather great?
I'm loving it.
Yeah, sure. I'm not minding.
As a fat boy, I like this. I ain't sweating.
You know, and Prattville was perfect. We saw a few snow flurries. Nothing stuck. The roads are perfect. But, man, y'all got hammered over on the other side of Montgomery, didn't y'all?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Montgomery got hit, and then south of Montgomery really got it.
Especially to the south. And the further south you go, all the way to the Gulf of America.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
was snowing heavy.
Yeah, did y'all see those little memes going around that said, it'll never snow in the Gulf of Mexico? And then Gulf of America said, hold my beer.
I saw that one, and then I saw that Donald Trump solved global warming on day one.
Yeah. And the other one I thought was funny was the kid that sounded just like Donald Trump, telling everybody in Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, and Florida that he was going to send them snow for voting for him. That was clever.
That's good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Hey, look, that's why we live down here. Is get something like that, once every 4 or 5 years?
Right.
And it's gone 2 days later?
Yep.
Right. You don't have to deal with it refreezing and all this other stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I called Ron. I said, how in the devil do you do it up there in Alaska? This is horrible. I could not do this day in and day out for 7 months.
Even worse, you got to shovel your driveway up there.
Yeah. But Ron's never thought the way I think. I'm a Southern boy. I'm not doing that. He loves it. And he claims the 3 months out of the year that he can hunt makes up for it. And I'm calling him a liar. I don't believe it.
It is pretty good, Ray. I got to be honest. It's pretty good.
It's not that good.
No, I left, so you're right. I'm back here. So.
Yeah, absolutely not. But I tell you what is good is when you call Private Carpet at 285-8117, we're going to make it really good.
Oh, yeah.
Matter of fact, Mark just left the Measure One. We've been open all day and have people in and out all day. We're putting in a church today, so we're moving on like normal. So if you need a floor, call us, 285-8117. We'll be glad to come out and give you that free measurement and bring you some samples along the way.
Again, that number is 285-8117. All starts with that phone call. And when you call them up at 285-8117, be sure to say, hey, I heard Ray Bowles on that radio show with Joey and Eddie.
Hey, it's good talking to you guys.
See you, Ray.
Thanks, Ray. So we got about, 7 minutes left. What did we learn today so far?
That Trump is kind of coming in and kicking butt. Kind of happy with that. I enjoyed hearing that the golden age of America is back. I enjoyed hearing that. I love hearing Gulf of America. Several memes I saw down there or this weekend and yesterday down there, snowing, those rednecks drinking in the Gulf of America.
And we learned also that Trump has no chill. Even when a bishop attacks him, he's going to tell that bishop, hey, shut up. You weren't all that inspiring or smart.
Right.
He's not going to take any of that.
And I'm glad. We've got someone that's got a backbone in the White House.
We learned that Ross Ulbricht, this morning we learned he's free.
Oh, yeah.
After 12 years, I think, of being
12 years,
overly sentenced. What? Double life sentence plus 40 years, just in case. Insane. Life, double life, plus 40 without parole. Insane.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense he had to sit 12 years in there.
And being a libertarian, being in the Bitcoin space, I've known about Ross for a while. I never thought it would maybe even happen. And to see it happen, thank you, President Trump, for that. That's just
He made promises.
fantastic.
He made promises along the way, and so far, Joey, he's saying what he's going to do.
We learned that Mark Zuckerberg not only took a peek at those things of Lauren Sanchez, he was looking at those tatas, he also was ogling her. Is that how it's said? Ogling.
Creepy is what I call it, but whatever.
He was checking out those things on Instagram. Apparently, Zuck liked a Lauren Sanchez Instagram photo. I know this is big, important stuff. And now Polymarket has 11% odds that Zuckerberg will get divorced this year.
He's got an Asian wife. I don't think he'll get divorced. I just think he'll be in punishment for quite some time.
I saw you looking at those things.
Right. I don't think those eyes will ever go left or right again.
John Fetterman makes it clear he's not going to become a Republican.
Thank God.
Trump suspended security clearances of all 51 intelligence officials who lied about the Hunter Biden laptop.
He hasn't done nothing to make me mad yet, Joey.
Trump is threatening Putin and the Russians. He's making sure the cartels down in Mexico are on their back foot.
Close the border.
Mm-hmm.
Which cracked me up because, again, so many tweets I was reading were people going, do you know he closed the border? It was that easy? We could have done that the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Pardon all these folks January 6th, though I'm kind of done with it. I've been done with that whole
January 6th?
conversation for a long time.
Well, I'm glad they're not in jail needlessly anymore. I think that was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. We learned that both of our senators are really out in front on a lot of stuff, and it's a good thing, I think, for the state.
They're getting some good camera time, and I do. I like that.
Especially with the new president in town. We learned that, they are who we thought they were, that the Democrats in the Congress are trying to delay.
Right.
Not shocked at all. That the corporate press folks just are stuck in their ways. They're never
I don't see any changes coming. I thought they would have hit bottom by now, but if this ain't bottom for them, then I don't know. I mean, was it MSNBC has less than 30,000 viewers? I mean, what's your bottom?
Right. And as much as we're happy about a new golden age, when you see a billionaire right after Trump pumps up their project, be like, we're going to create mRNA vaccines that are specific to the individual to prevent cancer. You're like, what? No.
Don't put a nerd up there to explain stuff like that, because I think he's talking a little bit out of his backside.
What, the CEO of Oracle? Yeah, Robert Malone said he's talking out of his backside.
Just a little bit over the top, that's all.
Yeah.
And plus, I don't, I'm still vaccine wary. Very.
And I saw like Bitcoin coming down off its high, and then I looked up and it was $104,000 a Bitcoin. I'm like,
good, because I advised a friend of mine buy about $10,000 worth the other day.
oh, and I wasn't able to share this moment with you. It's a good way to wrap up the show because, I mean, you had things to do yesterday. But I'm sure you saw one of these big balls. There were so many balls after the inaugural.
Oh, yes.
The official one, like all these balls. I was
The one that Snoop was at, too.
watching all the balls. And Trump shouts out his son, Barron Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And get a load of this moment, especially if you're watching on the stream, folks. This is a proud papa moment right here.
Son named Barron. Has anyone ever heard of him?
Yeah. He ain't got small hands.
No, man, that's a big guy.
It is.
And he just is cool as he can be. Look at this. Oh, like the Hulk Hogan hand to the ear. Incredible. That shot right there is the one I love, where you can see Trump just beaming at him. Beaming.
Honestly, though, how old is Barron?
I think 18.
Would you have the ear of your father at 18 to
Probably
do the
not.
things that... Right, me neither, Joey.
Probably
Me
not.
neither.
It's amazing.
Thank you. He knew the youth vote. You know, we won the youth vote by 36 points.
Yep.
And he was saying, Dad, you got to go out and do this one and that one. And we did a lot of them. And he respects them all. He understood them very well. And he said, Dad, you got to go out, do Joe Rogan, do all these guys. And we did.
We were doing all the
We
guys.
did, and Joe Rogan was great. They were all
He was
great,
there, too.
but-
Inauguration.
They were all good. He understood the market. Another famous one. How about Kyle?
Yeah, there's a lot of love, and that kid, I think, if he wants it, he's got a bright.
Joey, they're worried about the wrong Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Caesar will be a young man. I knew y'all are a bunch of right-wing fascists with your Roman salute. That's why Elon did what he did.
Oh, yeah.
We're on to you. Now let's have some lesbianic Dietrich Bonhoeffer lecture you about mercy. Good God.
Sickened me.
God. Anyway, on that unhinged moment, I guess we need to hit this top of the hour break and let Greg take over.
Yes,
right?
I see him and Pamela out there now.
Okay. Well, y'all stay tuned because
she looks very captivating too. By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a tall drink of water.
She's taller than me. She's about as tall as you.
She's taller than me, I think, man.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Eddie finds a lady captivating. Wait, did you just pull a Zuckerberg?
Oh, I did not.
Oh, on that note.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. A 17-year-old shooter killed himself after fatally wounding a female student in a shooting at a Nashville area high school. Another student was injured. It appears former Fox News host Pete Hegseth will be confirmed as U.S. Defense Secretary by the end of the week. The Senate is scheduled